Chapter 1737. Just now, he also saw that class's cards had actually reached 21. Zhang Bin suddenly felt like the sky was falling down. He felt dizzy for a while. Is Yang Ming going to lose his life here? However, Zhang Bin also knew that he had no right to speak here. Even if he resisted, the other party would not take him seriously. He could only look at Yang Ming anxiously. When he saw Yang Ming calmly say that he forgot to say something just now, Zhang Bin knew that Yang Ming was not a pushover. He already had a countermeasure. Sure enough, after Yang Ming spoke, the situation changed sharply. Class, who was originally the winner, suddenly became the loser. His face was gloomy and ugly. Although Zhang Bin did not know how Yang Ming reversed the situation and knew that 2 cards were missing from the deck, a victory was a victory. No matter how Yang Ming did it, the final result was good. Zhang Bin was overjoyed. Sure enough, Yang Ming did not let him down. The boss is the boss. He's too awesome. He played class until he couldn't get angry at all. This method of beating the opponent is simply too refreshing. I'm just saying it casually. If there's something wrong, we'll correct it. If there's nothing wrong, we'll make up for it. Besides, I'm talking about the quality of the poker cards. Why is Mr. Class so agitated? Could it be that these poker cards are produced by your family? Yang Ming smiled faintly and said sarcastically. I'm just saying it casually. What does this poker card have to do with me? Class's expression changed. He smiled and said, shall we continue with the competition? Let's not study the poker cards anymore. Well, that's true. Let's continue. Yang Ming nodded to the dealer, indicating that he could start. This time, you have to pay close attention to the poker cards. If there are 2 less cards, you can't explain it clearly even if you have the mouth. The dealer's expression changed. He knew that Yang Ming was reminding him. Previously, he had blamed Yang Ming for stealing the cards. In the end, Yang Ming did not touch the poker cards at all, so it was definitely impossible for him to steal the cards. The dealer was still very ashamed about this. So he placed his suspicion on Class. Especially after Class's somewhat unnatural reaction, the dealer was even more certain of his thoughts. However, Class was introduced by Smith. He was said to be a good friend of the big boss, so it was impossible for the dealer to fall out with Class. So the dealer was very grateful for Yang Ming's reminder. This time, the dealer smiled kindly at Yang Ming and began to open the packaging of the poker cards. Class's expression became even worse when he heard Yang Ming's words. But at this time, he couldn't explain anything. The more he explained, the more people would think that he was trying to cover up. So, Class could only endure his anger and snort. Please check the cards. The dealer spread the poker cards on the table and said to Yang Ming and Class. Mr. Yang Ming, you have to look carefully this time. Are there any missing cards? Class said to Yang Ming, otherwise, it won't be good if there are fewer cards. Hee, I've finished looking. There's no problem. How about Mr. Class? Yang Ming nodded with a smile. I have no problem either, Class said plainly. Well, you can shuffle the cards, Yang Ming said to the dealer. The dealer nodded and began to shuffle the cards quickly. Class's eyes stared at the movements of the dealer's hands without blinking. Yang Ming laughed secretly. This guy is starting to remember the cards again. Naturally, I can't let him do as he wishes. Yang Ming touched his chin and said, Mr. Class, how can there be missing cards in that deck of cards just now? What? Class was focused on the poker cards in the dealer's hand. He was stunned when he suddenly heard Yang Ming's question. How would I know? However, just as Class was stunned, he couldn't keep up with the speed of the dealer's hands. The previous order had been messed up. Class was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. This Yang Ming didn't say anything earlier or later. He just had to say something nonsense at the critical moment. Damn, it's really infuriating. Speaking of which, this casino is quite large. I didn't expect there to be a problem with the poker cards inside. Fortunately, I discovered it. If it were an ordinary gambler who didn't pay attention, wouldn't he have suffered a huge loss? Yang Ming and the casino were also affected. Originally, Yang Ming was dissatisfied with the South City Casino helping class. Naturally, he wouldn't give the casino any face at this time. I don't produce poker cards. How am I supposed to know? Class was a little impatient. This Yang Ming really knows how to ruin things. There's no other way. I can only see if I can steal more cards this time. If it doesn't work, I can only rely on pure luck. Class was very depressed. He definitely suspected that Yang Ming was doing it deliberately. He thought that this kid's eyesight was not good enough. He couldn't remember the order of the dealer's shuffle. He didn't want Class to remember it, so he deliberately caused trouble. He wanted Class to be like him and rely on luck. The dealer finished shuffling the cards, then put the poker cards on the table and said, "Please cut the cards." Class was about to reach out when Yang Ming suddenly said, "Stop. Don't move." Class was shocked. His heart almost fell out of his chest. He cursed Yang Ming for being so wicked in his heart. He frowned and looked at Yang Ming. "What are you going to do? It's best for both of us not to touch those poker cards. If there is a missing card this time, you will be the first suspect." Yang Ming seemed to be reminding Class for his own good. In fact, he was basically saying that Class would steal the cards. Class didn't expect this Yang Ming to be so difficult to deal with. From now on, he finally began to face this opponent seriously. His previous contempt was gone. He finally understood why the boss asked him to do this seriously. "I don't need you to remind me. I won't touch it." With that said, Class's hand touched Class's hair. "I'm just messing with my hairstyle." Yang Ming's words made the dealer break out in a cold sweat. Now that he thought about it, Class might have stolen 2 cards by cutting the cards. In this case, he really couldn't be careless. Since Yang Ming said that he wouldn't cut the cards, he quickly put away the poker cards and cut them twice. Then he said, "Who will go first this time?" "Mr. Yang, you decide." Class couldn't remember the cards anyway, so he might as well be generous and let Yang Ming choose. He didn't want Yang Ming to find excuses when he lost. The last competition was voided. "So this time, it should be Mr. Class's turn," said Yang Ming with a smile. "Okay." Class didn't refuse and said to the dealer, "Let's start." Yang Ming said this because he had already seen the cards. If Class dealt the cards first, then it would be 2 tens when it was his turn. Whether Class asked for a card or a halt, it was impossible for him to have a bigger hand than his. If Class asked for 2 more cards, he would explode. Class's bottom card was a 9 of hearts, and his face card was an 8 of clubs. Yang Ming's bottom card was a 10 of hearts, and his face card was a 10 of spades. Class asked for a card first. Class hesitated a little. His deck was pretty fucked up. It added up to 17 points. It was neither too big nor too small. If he asked for another card, it would be easy for him to explode. However, seeing that Yang Ming's face card was a 10 of spades, Class was a little unwilling if he didn't want it. After hesitating, Class said, "I want one." Yang Ming laughed lightly, startling Class. "What are you laughing at?" Class was a little annoyed. He was a little timid and didn't know if he should continue to ask for cards. What did this Yang Ming mean by suddenly laughing? Is he laughing that I'm going to explode? That's not right. Yang Ming can only see my face card and not my bottom card. Why is he laughing? My cards are good. Can't I laugh a little? Yang Ming looked at Class as if he was looking at a fool and said matter-of-factly, "This." Class was speechless. "Is there anyone like you? You laugh because your cards are good? Don't you know that it's taboo to show your emotions when gambling? Are you afraid that others won't be able to tell what your cards are?" However, Class naturally couldn't completely believe Yang Ming's words. Yang Ming was very sly. In his opinion, Yang Ming's gambling skills might be terrible, but he knew how to play some clever tricks. Chapter 1738. Don't scare people even if you have good cards, Class said gloomily. Then, he waved to the dealer, I want another one. The dealer nodded, took out another poker card, and placed it in front of Class. Class's face suddenly twitched. He didn't expect such a card. It was an ace of diamonds. This card could be regarded as a 1 or an 11 in blackjack. But in the current situation, it could only be used as a 1. If it was an 11, it would explode. 17 plus 1 made 18. Class was even more depressed. This card is neither too big nor too small. But in the current situation, he didn't dare to continue asking for cards even if he was beaten to death. If he continued, he would most likely explode. Now, he could only hope that Yang Ming's cards were smaller than his, or that Yang Ming would explode after asking for another card. Halt, Class said, Mr. Yang, it's your turn. I don't want it, said Yang Ming. I already said that my cards are very good. What else do I want? Well, since both sides have halted, let's reveal the cards, said the dealer. Class and Yang Ming revealed their cards at the same time. When Class saw that Yang Ming's card was also a 10, his face immediately turned pale. I lost. I actually lost. Hee, Mr. Class, thank you for letting me win. Yang Ming smiled and said, of course, you can also think that there is a problem with the poker cards and ask for a review. Humph. Class snorted coldly. He had already seen whether there was a problem with the poker cards before. Naturally, he wouldn't find fault in this aspect. From beginning to end, Yang Ming had not touched any other cards except for his own cards. Of course, he didn't think that Yang Ming did it by secretly swapping cards. In that case, one of these two people can go with you. Class nodded, Mr. Yang, do you want to continue gambling on the next round or take one person with you? Although Class said so, he also knew that since Yang Ming came, he would definitely not take only one person with him. If he wanted to take, he would take both people with him. He just wanted to squeeze Yang Ming. Let's continue. Yang Ming was not angry and said lightly. Yang Ming. Don't gamble anymore. You take Zhang Bin away. Don't worry about me. Zhang Jifeng suddenly spoke and interrupted Yang Ming. Zhang Jifeng's emotions were a little emotional. Yang Ming, I'll leave Zhang Bin in your hands in the future. Yang Ming also understood Zhang Jifeng's sudden words very well. Zhang Jifeng saw that Zhang Bin was saved after Yang Ming won one round. He didn't want Yang Ming to risk gambling again. He was afraid that Yang Ming wouldn't be so lucky in the next round and would lose Zhang Bin again. He thought that since he was already so old, it was fine if he died. Zhang Bin still had a long way to go. In the future, Zhang Bin would have Yang Ming to take care of him. Zhang Jifeng couldn't do too badly. Zhang Jifeng could leave with peace of mind. Uncle Zhang, don't worry. Yang Ming smiled faintly, if we're going back, we'll naturally go back together. Zhang Jifeng could only shut up when he heard Yang Ming say so. After all, Yang Ming was the one who made the decision. He was just giving a suggestion. Mr. Yang, can we start? Asked Class. Let's start. Yang Ming nodded. The dealer put away the poker cards on the table and threw them into the shredder. Then, he took out another deck of poker cards and opened them for everyone to check. Then, he cut the cards and asked, who's going first this time? Class's eyes followed the dealer's movements this time. Yang Ming didn't say anything to disturb him. This made Class feel relieved. After all, this time, he roughly remembered what the first few cards in the dealer's hand were. Although it was impossible to be so accurate, it was not far from the mark. In this round, the person who asked for the cards first had an absolute advantage. Seeing that Yang Ming was still indifferent and calm, Class was a little disdainful. This guy is just a little smart and lucky. As long as I'm careful this time, I can win a round. Who's going first this time? Asked the dealer after putting away the cards. Mr. Yang, you decide. Class hesitated for a moment. He felt that it was better to let Yang Ming speak first. The previous 2 times, he was the one who let Yang Ming speak first. If he suddenly said that he would speak first this time, what if Yang Ming became suspicious? That kid is not easy to deal with. So, in order to avoid Yang Ming's suspicion, Class pretended to ask again. In his opinion, Yang Ming had let him go first the previous 2 times. This time, he guessed that it would be the same. Oh, the first time is invalid. You were the one who went first the second time. Then, it's my turn to go first this time. It's fair, said Yang Ming lightly. What? Class was immediately dumbfounded after hearing Yang Ming's words. It can't be. Why is Yang Ming so unwilling to let me go first this time? Why was he so modest the previous 2 times? What the hell is Yang Ming doing? However, Yang Ming's reason was normal and impeccable. The first time was invalid. Then, Class was the one who dealt the cards first the second time. So, it was normal for Yang Ming to deal the cards first this time. At this time, if Class said that he was going to deal the cards first, then Yang Ming would definitely be more suspicious and even doubt his motives. So, Class was really helpless. If he had known earlier, he would not have asked Yang Ming and directly asked for the cards to be dealt. Although it was a little unreliable, it was better than now. What's wrong, Mr. Class? Mr. Class? Yang Ming pretended not to know. Nothing. I was always dealt the cards first before. This time, Mr. Yang took the initiative to ask for the cards, which surprised me a little, said Class embarrassedly. Oh, are you surprised? Yang Ming smiled. Why don't you go first? Class was suddenly excited after hearing Yang Ming's words. He wanted to say, that's good, but he suddenly stopped. If he said that, Yang Ming would definitely be suspicious. At that time, it would be even more impossible for him to go first. So, Class hesitated and said, I don't care. Mr. Yang has the final say. Oh, then. I'll go first. Yang Ming said to the dealer, let's start. Class's heart was in a mess before, and his heart almost fell out. When he heard Yang Ming say, then, he thought that Yang Ming wanted to say, then you go first. In the end, Yang Ming said, then I'll go first. Damn, if I knew this would happen, I wouldn't have been so modest. I would have just said, well, I'll go first. Why bother? I'm really afraid of the wolf in front and the tiger behind. I'll suffer even more in the end. Class was depressed. He had missed 2 opportunities, which made him feel so sullen in his heart that he wanted to die. However, it was useless to be depressed and sullen now. He could only go all out in this game and hope that Yang Ming would make a mistake and blow up or not ask for a card. Class had already thought that the person who asked for a card first would have an 8 of clubs as his bottom card, and a 10 of diamonds as his face card. This would add up to 18 points. It was relatively big, but it was not a very big card. In this case, if Yang Ming asked for another card, it would be an ace of hearts, which would add up to 19 points. If he asked for another card, it would be an ace of diamonds, which would add up to 20 points. If he asked for another card, it would be a 7 of clubs, which would definitely blow up. So, he prayed that Yang Ming would not keep asking for more. In this way, his bottom card would be a 9 of diamonds, and his face card would be an 8 of diamonds, which would add up to 17 points. If Yang Ming did not want a single card, he would ask for 2 aces in a row, which would make it 19 points in one fell swoop, surpassing Yang Ming's 18 points. Sir, do you want a card? The dealer asked Yang Ming. Oh, let me see. Yang Ming pretended to look at his bottom card, and then said, it's a bit difficult. Should I take it or not? Class was nervous because of Yang Ming's words. He was about to die. This was the most depressing gamble he had ever made since his debut. His heart was beating up and down with Yang Ming. If this continued, his heart would definitely fall out. This kid is too good at toying with people. Hee, this is the last round. Mr. Yang, you don't want to waste all your previous efforts, right? Class seemed to be hinting at Yang Ming kindly. He was also hinting to him to quit while he was ahead and not take risks. It was better to play it safe. After all, it was already 18 points. If he asked for more cards, he would probably blow up. Chapter 1739. Oh, you're right. Yang Ming nodded in agreement after listening to Class's words. Hee. Class was overjoyed. Does Yang Ming mean that he doesn't want any cards? Then, isn't I going to win? Wahahaha. Yang Ming, oh Yang Ming, you are still too inexperienced to fight with me. Although I was at a disadvantage in this round, I finally succeeded in reversing the situation. I am the big winner. Wahahaha, that's great. This is the last round. I don't want to waste all my previous efforts, so I've decided. I want another card. After Yang Ming finished speaking, he smiled gratefully at Class. Ah. Class's mouth was wide open, and his eyes were wide open. Want another card? Did I hear it wrong? Didn't he decide? He shouldn't want another card. Why does he want another one? I thought that I already had a lot of cards in my hand, so I didn't want any more. But after hearing what you said, I thought it was right. It's the last round, so I have to gamble. Otherwise, all my previous efforts will be wasted. Yang Ming said seriously, this way, my chances of winning will be higher. Class almost cried after listening to Yang Ming's words. My chances of winning will be higher if I gamble? It seems that my words have the opposite effect. Yang Ming didn't intend to continue asking for cards, but my words made him change his mind? Motherfucker, what the hell is this? Isn't this a joke? How does this Yang Ming's brain work? Is he really stupid or just pretending to be stupid? Why is my mouth so cheap? Will it kill me to keep my mouth shut? Why did I have to say a few more words? In fact, what Class didn't know was that it was completely useless for him to say this sentence. Yang Ming deliberately wanted to mess with him and make him feel uncomfortable. If he didn't speak, Yang Ming would say that his original intention was to ask for another card. In that case, Class would be equally depressed. He would hate himself for not being more talkative and persuading Yang Ming. This was exactly the effect that Yang Ming wanted. Let this guy have a bellyful of evil tricks. If he didn't mess with him, who else would he mess with? Humph, Class's expression was very bad, but there was no other way. The facts were right in front of him. His loss was a foregone conclusion that could not be changed. After that, there was basically no point in continuing to gamble. Class was a little bored, but on second thought, wouldn't it be fine if he could trick Yang Ming into asking for more cards and then make him explode? Thinking of this, Class regained some confidence and tried to smile at Yang Ming. Yeah, but your trump card isn't that big. You should use it as a point, right? Yes. Yang Ming didn't hide it and nodded. In fact, this was also obvious. Yang Ming's face card was a 10 of diamonds. No matter what the bottom card was, his face value was already more than 10 points, so this ace of hearts must be used as a point. So I think that in this case, you might as well strike while the iron is hot and ask for another one, said Class. Oh, you're right. Yang Ming nodded and said, then I'll ask for another one. Dealer, deal the cards. The dealer gave Yang Ming another card. It was an ace of diamonds. Huh? Yang Ming pretended to be surprised as he looked at the card in front of him. Why is it another ace? Class was very excited to see that his scheme had succeeded. It seems that Yang Ming is really easy to fool. He believed what I said and asked for another one. Huh, it seems that Mr. Yang's luck is quite good. Class laughed. Then, do you still want to continue asking for cards? Class's meaning was already very obvious. That is, your luck is very good. Naturally, you have to continue. Yeah, Mr. Class, you're right. My luck is already very good. Yang Ming nodded and said with conviction. Class listened to Yang Ming's words and showed a satisfied smile on his face. However, Yang Ming's next words made it too late for him to cry. Yang Ming continued, thank you for your reminder. A person's luck can't be good all the time, so I've decided that I don't want it anymore. Class was going crazy. Is there a problem with Yang Ming's comprehension ability? What I said was already very clear. Could it be that he didn't understand? It was the same in the past and now. It seems that I can't say anything suggestive in front of him at all. This Yang Ming has a problem with his intelligence. He can't understand hints. I can only say things clearly. Of course, Class was just viciously criticizing. He naturally didn't really think that Yang Ming had a problem with his IQ or poor comprehension ability. Otherwise, the boss behind him wouldn't have spent so much effort to deal with Yang Ming. In his opinion, it was probably because Yang Ming was Chinese. Although his English was very good, he couldn't understand some of the hints that were not very clear. Class didn't think so much before. He thought that since they were at the gambling table, the dealer and Smith definitely couldn't understand Chinese, so Class chose to speak English. Now it seemed that it was necessary for him to speak Chinese to Yang Ming. Don't you want to think about it? Class didn't give up. Halt, Yang Ming smiled and said to the dealer. Sir, do you still want a card? The dealer nodded and asked Class. Class knew what the next card was. If he wanted it, he would definitely lose. It didn't make any sense at all whether he wanted it or not. He said with some resentment, no, halt. Well, please reveal your cards, the dealer said after listening to Class's words. Seeing Yang Ming's trump card, Class said with some frustration and indignation, I lost. Hee, in this way, won't my friend be free? Yang Ming asked with a smile. It's like this. Class was very depressed. He had a good plan, but he didn't expect Yang Ming to win 2 games in a row and reverse the situation all of a sudden. It seems that I should consider forcing Yang Ming to stay. Mr. Yang, you gambled on behalf of your 2 friends in these 2 games. Now that both of us are even, shouldn't we have a fair bet again? Class pretended to be addicted to gambling and said with some dissatisfaction. Oh, is that so? Yang Ming glanced at Class with interest. It seems that this kid really doesn't give up. Bro, don't bet with him. Zhang Bin was anxious when he saw that Yang Ming didn't refuse directly. It was not easy to exchange for such a good situation. Don't lose it again. Zhang Bin was also anxious for a while, but Zhang Bin's words had already expressed his meaning, so he didn't say anything else. Class frowned when he saw Zhang Bin making trouble. If he had known earlier, he would have asked someone to tape their mouths so that they wouldn't cause trouble. Mr. Yang, what do you think? Class pretended not to hear Zhang Bin's words and continued to ask. Yang Ming gestured for Zhang Bin to be quiet, then smiled and said to Class, your proposal is very good, but what should we bet this time? You have already lost the bet in your hands to me. Hee, as I said, I like excitement and adventure. Class laughed, of course, it's still a bet with our lives. Bet with our lives? You want to bet your life with me? Then whose life should I use? Both of them? Yang Ming pointed at Zhang Bin and Zhang Jifang. Ah. Mr. Yang, you won't risk your friends again, right? Class was stunned. He didn't expect Yang Ming to say this. His original intention was to let Yang Ming gamble with his own life. Just kidding, Yang Ming said faintly, well, since you like to bet with your life, then let's bet with our lives. Well, it seems that Mr. Yang is also a gambler. Class was very happy when he heard Yang Ming agree. He had already thought about it. This time, no matter what, he had to seize the initiative. Even if he was shameless, he had to choose whether to ask for the cards first or second. Hee. Yang Ming smiled and didn't answer. Mr. Yang, what are we playing this time? Are we still playing blackjack? Asked Class. Oh, let's change the game this time. After Yang Ming finished speaking, he stood up and walked to Smith. When everyone was wondering what Yang Ming was going to do, a pistol appeared in Yang Ming's hand. Chapter 1740. What are you going to do? Class was shocked when he saw a pistol suddenly appear in Yang Ming's hand. Of course, he was nervous. Is this Yang Ming going to kill me out of anger after seeing that I still want to gamble? Smith's men were also shocked. When they saw Yang Ming holding a gun, they quickly took out their pistols and aimed at Yang Ming. Why are you so nervous? Yang Ming raised his head and glanced at the crowd faintly. Everyone thought, isn't it obvious that you're holding a pistol and asking others why they're nervous? How can we be nervous if you don't hold a gun? I'm just looking for a prop for gambling. Yang Ming said indifferently, since Mr. Class likes adventure and excitement so much, how can I not let you do as you wish? Since it's a bet of life, then let's play something more exciting. What are you trying to say? Class looked at Yang Ming coldly, faintly feeling that something was wrong. Have you seen The Bund? There was an episode where Su Wenxiang and Feng Jingyao gambled in this way. As Yang Ming spoke, he opened the drum of the pistol and poured out all the bullets inside. Then, he casually picked one up and put it in. Then, he quickly moved the drum and made it spin rapidly. Then, he quickly reassembled the drum. Even with Class's eyesight, he couldn't see where the bullet was spinning at this speed. Class's expression changed. He naturally knew how Yang Ming was going to gamble. He had seen The Bund before. Even if he hadn't seen it, he understood what Yang Ming was going to do after seeing what Yang Ming was doing at this moment. One bullet, one shot in turn. Whoever touched the bullet would be unlucky. In fact, Yang Ming had already thought of this method when he first entered the private room. He made this decision because he saw a revolver on Smith's waist. Nowadays, revolvers were rarely used. Whether it was Class's men or Smith's men, they all had automatic pistols in their pockets. Although some countries and armies still used revolvers, it was undeniable that the invention of the revolver in the last century had become history. The revolver was created in 1835. It was a revolver improved by the American Samuel Colt and obtained a British patent. This gun was considered to be the first revolver that was truly widely used. The revolver of a revolver usually had 5 to 6 bullet nests that acted as both magazines and chambers. The bullets were loaded in the nests, and when the revolver rotated, the bullets could be fired one by one against the barrel, ready to be fired. At that time, many sheriffs and cowboys had revolvers on their waists. It was a very eye-catching scene. However, in Yang Ming's opinion, Smith's revolver was obviously a pretentious act or a cowboy. In an emergency situation like a casino, automatic pistols were obviously more useful than revolvers. However, as the head of the security department, Smith only needed automatic pistols. As the boss, he could show off. Unfortunately, he was used by Yang Ming. Mr. Yang, what you mean is that we use this pistol. Class didn't expect Yang Ming to be so crazy. Hee, you want excitement. I think this is the most exciting. Yang Ming said faintly, why? Is Mr. Class scared? Scared? What a joke. I like excitement the most. Class said against his will as he was pushed back by Yang Ming. Well, if that's the case, then let's each take a shot. Yang Ming looked at Class, which one of us will go first? Everyone present was dumbfounded. Although they had seen similar plots in movies, they had never seen someone play like this in reality. This is simply crazy. Zhang Bin and Zhang Jifeng were also dumbfounded. They didn't expect Yang Ming to be so ruthless. He played a bigger game right from the start. Even Smith didn't expect things to turn out like this. He knew the truth. Class's so-called love of adventure and excitement was all nonsense. He was the honorary part-time consultant of the casino. How could he like adventure and excitement? Class was under a lot of psychological pressure at the moment. He had shot himself in the foot. This feeling was very bad. Class sighed. It was not impossible to retreat at this time. He originally thought of dragging it out until his people outside the door sent him a signal to come in and deal with Yang Ming. He wouldn't take this risk. After all, the risk of playing with guns was too great. One mistake and he would really die. It would be fine if Yang Ming died, but if he died, what was the point of playing? However, until now, his people had not contacted him. This made Class very angry. Why are these people so inefficient? Didn't we agree on this long ago? After he entered the casino, they were going to ambush him in the casino on the first floor. After the ambush was done, they would text him. But so far, Class had not received any text messages. Damn, these people dropped the ball at the last moment. After this matter is over, I must impeach them with the boss. But there was no other way. No matter how angry Class was, it was useless. Fortunately, he had prepared a second plan. He didn't hang himself on a single tree. Thinking of this, Class could only quickly press the send button on his mobile phone and send out the pre-edited text message. He asked his second team to come quickly and be ready to act at any time. What Class didn't know was that the people he had ambushed in the casino lobby had long been found out by Golden Bull and others. They were secretly taken away and killed. In the hall, it was naturally easy for the Golden Bull to distinguish who was here for fun and who was here with a purpose. Especially those whose eyes were always drifting towards the third private room, the Golden Bull picked them out one by one. This was also the reason why Class had not received any news so far. Since the person had been killed, the corpse naturally would not send a message. However, Class also ambushed a special force outside the casino in order to come to the rescue in an emergency. These people were more blatant than those in the lobby. These people were fully armed with guns. They were waiting for Class's order to rush directly into the casino's private room to kill people. We have received the order. Everyone is on standby and ready to go. The captain of the special force, who was lying in ambush outside the casino, glanced at the message on his mobile phone and then ordered his men. Yes. These special force members were all well trained. They quickly organized their formation and were ready to act. However, just as these people were about to set off, an accident happened. Raise your hands, or we won't be polite. Wang Peng had been eyeing this group of people for a long time, but seeing that this group of people had no intention of going further, Wang Peng didn't care about them. As a result, Wang Peng suddenly saw the leader start to gather his men after glancing at his mobile phone. Naturally, Wang Peng couldn't sit idly by. He directly called his men to surround them. The members of the special force didn't hold their guns in their hands because they were on standby. As a result, it was too late to take out their guns at this time. With the muzzles pointed at them, these people could only raise their hands gloomily. Come with us, Wang Peng said indifferently. With a wave of his hand, these people were stripped of their weapons and escorted to a bus that had already been prepared. In the private room, Class wanted to curse. What the hell is going on with these people? The members of the assassination group that I arranged didn't move at all. As for the special force, I sent a short message to them, but it was like throwing a stone into the sea. Looking at Yang Ming's aggressive gaze, Class knew that he couldn't delay any longer. He wanted to hint to Smith to make a move on Yang Ming, but he was afraid that Yang Ming would be alerted. He heard that Yang Ming's skills were also good. He had seen it with his own eyes yesterday. Before he had absolute confidence, Class didn't dare to act rashly. Just based on the fact that Yang Ming dared to come here alone and allowed Smith and him to bring people in, Class knew that Yang Ming must have a way to protect himself. That was why he arranged for other people to deal with Yang Ming. But now, Class had no other choice. He braced himself and said, "Then you go first." "Oh, okay," Yang Ming nodded blankly, picked up the gun, and shot his temple. Chapter 1741. Caw. There was a soft sound. No bullet was fired. It seems that my luck is not bad. It's your turn. Yang Ming pushed the pistol over and placed it in front of Class. Looking at Yang Ming's relaxed expression, class was a little speechless. He even thought, is this guy really not afraid of death? Does he not cherish life? I even boldly told him that I like to take risks. Now it seems that I am the one who likes to take risks. Class frowned. There was no reply to any text messages on his phone. I really don't want these subordinates anymore. What's going on? There is no news from the two teams. Isn't this too unreliable? Looking at Yang Ming looking at him aggressively, class had no choice but to pick up the pistol with a forced smile and aim it at his temple. However, he slightly tilted the muzzle when facing Yang Ming. I won't die if I continue to shoot like this, right? At least, I should be able to be saved if I am sent to the hospital. Thinking of this, class felt a little comforted in his heart. He breathed a sigh of relief, then clenched his teeth and pulled the trigger on the pistol. Caw. There was another soft sound, but the bullet was still not fired. Class suddenly breathed a sigh of relief. His whole body was drenched in sweat as if he had just been in a sauna. It's your turn. Class let out a sigh of relief and then pushed the pistol to Yang Ming. Now that 2 shots had been fired, there were 4 shots left. One of them had a bullet, so Yang Ming had a 25% chance of being shot and killed. This was a very high chance. Class prayed in his heart. It would be best if Yang Ming died. Then, everything would be fine. Oh, okay. Yang Ming's expression was beyond Class's expectations. Yang Ming still seemed to take the pistol indifferently. Class was shocked. It was normal for Yang Ming to be indifferent about the first shot. But why was the second shot the same? It was as if he wasn't worried that this shot would kill him. Is this kid trying to look tough? It doesn't seem like it. Yang Ming's next move was still as calm as ever. He picked up the pistol, aimed it at his temple, and pulled the trigger. Caw. There was another soft sound, but the bullet was still not fired. It's your turn again, Mr. Class. Yang Ming pushed the pistol to Class. It seems that my luck is not bad. Class cursed in his heart. This Yang Ming is really lucky. He is still alive after 3 shots. If I fire the 4th shot, then the probability is 1/3. But, however, he really didn't know what would happen if he let those 2 unreliable subordinates of his do the work. It's my turn again, hee. Class laughed dryly and picked up the pistol. Looking at Yang Ming, Class took a deep breath and aimed the muzzle at his temple. This time, like the last time, the muzzle was a little off. In his opinion, as long as he didn't die, he would accept the pain. Caw. Class pulled the trigger. There was a soft sound. Class didn't feel any pain. It was an empty shot again. Ha 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 ha. After Class fired this shot, he really wanted to laugh heartily. I'm really lucky. After dodging another bullet, there are only 2 shots left. One of them is a bullet. It seems that Yang Ming won't be able to escape this time. Mr. Yang, this time, it's your turn. Class returned the pistol to Yang Ming. It's the last 2 shots. Mr. Yang, you have to be careful. Really? Aren't there 2 more shots? If I don't die, you will die. Why are you so happy? Yang Ming glanced at Class and said sarcastically. Ugh. Class was stunned for a moment, but he thought that what Yang Ming said was right. If Yang Ming didn't die, then Class would be the one to die. He really had no reason to be excited, but since Yang Ming shot first, he should have a higher chance of dying, right? Mr. Yang, you must be joking. How am I happy? I'm just excited. As I said before, I'm a person who likes to take risks. There's only a 50% chance left, so I'm very excited. Class explained with a forced smile. Oh, then continue to be excited. If I don't die, you can be excited to death, said Yang Ming lightly. Class really couldn't figure out where Yang Ming got his courage from. There were only 2 shots left, but he was still calm. It was really strange. Yang Ming ignored class. He picked up the pistol, aimed it at his temple, and pulled the trigger without hesitation. Caw. There was still a soft sound, but no bullet was fired. It seemed that it was another empty shot. Class was originally hoping that Yang Ming would die with this shot, but the result was very disappointing. Nothing happened to Yang Ming at all. Doesn't that mean that the last shot is loaded? Isn't it my turn? Thinking of this, Class suddenly felt a burst of fear. If it was a gamble before, there was still a chance to live. But now, there is no doubt that I will die. Even if I don't die from this shot, I will be seriously injured. Class's cold sweat suddenly fell. I didn't expect such a result in the end. Isn't this Yang Ming too lucky? He didn't die, and now it's my turn. Mr. Class, do you want me to shoot the last shot for you? Or do you want to do it yourself? Yang Ming looked at Class with a smile. It seems that your luck is very bad. I'll do it myself. Class's face was pale. No one knew what he was thinking. Okay, then you do it yourself. Yang Ming pushed the pistol to Class. You are about to die from the stimulation. Class was speechless for a while. Yang Ming is right. I am about to die from the stimulation. But he was not reconciled. Why? He was not stupid. He knew that he would definitely die with the last shot. Class hesitated. He couldn't shoot, absolutely not. He didn't know what his men were doing. There was still no news from them. It was just right to rush in and solve the problem. Class hesitated, but he already had a plan in his heart. He slowly raised the pistol and then aimed it at his head. Suddenly, his hand moved violently, but the muzzle was aimed at Yang Ming. He pulled the trigger at the speed of light. Click. The gun sounded, but it was a soft sound. No bullet was fired. However, Class did not notice this detail. He subconsciously thought that the bullet had been fired. His eyes stared straight at Yang Ming, waiting for him to fall into a pool of blood. However, Class was disappointed. Yang Ming did not fall into a pool of blood. He didn't even seem to be injured at all. He still sat there calmly, looking at Class with a contemptuous look. Only then did Class realize that there was no bullet in the pistol. He was a little anxious. How is this possible? Is it a jam? He continued to pull the trigger. Click, click, click. There were a few soft sounds again, but still no bullet was fired. At this time, Yang Ming moved. He raised his hand gently and a bullet shot out from Yang Ming's fingers, hitting Class directly between his eyebrows. Class suddenly opened his eyes wide, groaned, and fell down. He was still holding the revolver in his right hand, maintaining the shooting posture. I knew you wouldn't abide by the rules of the game. Yang Ming sneered and said, there is no bullet in the gun at all. The bullet is in my hand. It was precisely because Yang Ming knew that there was no bullet in the gun that he did not dodge when Class shot at him. Otherwise, with Yang Ming's speed, he could have avoided Class's muzzle. Catch him. Don't let him run away. Smith, his men, and Class's men were a little dumbfounded by this sudden change at this moment. However, Smith was the first to react as he loudly ordered his subordinates. Unfortunately, as soon as he gave the order, the door of the private room was kicked open. Golden Bull rushed in with his men and instantly controlled everyone in the private room except for Yang Ming, Zhang Bin, and Zhang Jifang. Chapter 1742. When Yang Ming gave the pistol to Class, he had secretly pressed the transmit button on his cell phone to contact Golden Bull outside. So, after Yang Ming made his move, Golden Bull also rushed in with his men. Leader, what should we do with these people? Golden Bull asked after his men controlled the people in the room. Just unload their weapons, Yang Ming ordered faintly. Yes. Golden Bull obeyed the order and let his men unload everyone's weapons in the room. Then, he stood aside. Since Yang Ming gave such an order, there must be something else. However, Yang Ming didn't say anything, so it was possible that Yang Ming wanted to do it himself. Smith, right? Yang Ming looked up at Smith, whose forehead was pointed at by his men with a gun, and asked. Yes. Mr. Yang. This has nothing to do with me. It's all class's idea. Smith was also frightened. After Yang Ming shot class to death with a bullet, Smith was scared from the bottom of his heart. Really? Yang Ming asked. Yes, that's it. Smith nodded hurriedly. Although he didn't know where these people who rushed in came from, it was obvious that they were all Yang Ming's men. How could Smith dare not to lower his head? Then why were you so arrogant and wanted to catch me when class was dead? Yang Ming asked with a smile. This. Smith could only smile bitterly when he heard Yang Ming's words. Mr. Yang, you also know that I'm just an employee. Our boss wants me to cooperate with class. What can I do? Also, if something happens to class here, our boss will definitely find trouble with me. I have no choice but to keep you here. Oh, in that case, well, I won't make it difficult for you. Yang Ming glanced at class and said to him, I'll give you a chance to pass on the message alive. Yes, yes. Mr. Yang, if you have anything to say, I will definitely pass on your message, Smith said carefully. Tell your boss to inform the patriarch of the Nanching family to meet me at the Douglas Hotel within 24 hours. If he's late, he'll bear all the consequences himself, Yang Ming said to Smith after glancing at him. Ah. Smith didn't expect that Yang Ming would ask him to pass such a message. Suddenly, his face was bitter. If he passed such arrogant words to the boss, wouldn't the boss scold him to death? However, Smith also knew that he had no choice. He could only nod carefully and say, Okay, Mr. Yang. You can rest assured that I will pass on your message. Well, I hope so. Yang Ming stood up and said to Golden Bull, Let them go. Let's go. Yes. Golden Bull carried out Yang Ming's orders to the letter. He immediately ordered his men to release Smith and class's men who were under their control. However, although these people were released, they still didn't dare to act rashly. The other party's numbers and firearms were obviously stronger than theirs. Wasn't it courting death to fight with them? That. Mr. Yang. Smith hesitated and called out to Yang Ming, who was about to leave. What else? Yang Ming glanced at him and didn't get angry. Smith was just a messenger and executor at the bottom level. There was no need for him to stoop down to his level. This kind of character was not worth Yang Ming's attention. In Yang Ming's eyes, Smith was like an ant. He could kill him at will. Mr. Yang. If the boss asks me what the consequences are, how should I answer? Smith asked carefully. He had been thinking about this problem before. Yang Ming said that he would bear the consequences himself. If the boss asked him what the consequences were, he wouldn't be able to explain it clearly. The Nanching family will be exterminated. Yang Ming didn't look at him again. Instead, he took Zhang Bin and Zhang Jifeng out of the private room directly. After they left, Smith fell to the ground. Obviously, he was scared out of his wits. After seeing Yang Ming's means and those powerful men, Smith finally understood how powerful Yang Ming was. No wonder the people behind him were so serious about dealing with Yang Ming. It seems that this kid has been pretending to be a pig to eat the tiger. Fortunately, I am a small character. Yang Ming didn't bother to do anything to me. Otherwise, I would probably be a corpse like class now. Boss, do you need to call someone to stop them? One of Smith's men suggested to Smith after Yang Ming and the others had gone far away. Pa! Smith slapped the underling in the face, causing half of his face to swell up. The underling was stunned by the slap. He didn't know what to do and looked at Smith inexplicably. Motherfucker, stop them. Didn't you see what guns they are using? They are almost as good as the regular army. Even if you want to die, I don't want to die. Smith glared at the man and scolded fiercely, these gods are fighting. Why should we get involved? Let the boss solve it. Oh. The man thought about it and agreed. Why should I show off? Do I think my life is too long? I quickly shut up. Yang Ming, Golden Bull, and the others went out of the casino together, but when they went out, Golden Bull had already asked his men to put away their weapons. No one stopped them. It seemed that Smith was an eye-catching person and didn't do anything unwise. Yang Ming's strength today was unprecedented. In the past, Yang Ming's character was that if people didn't offend him, he wouldn't offend them. If he wasn't forced, Yang Ming wouldn't be so ruthless. But today was different. Yang Ming asked Smith to pass the message strongly, which already showed Yang Ming's determination to deal with the Nanqing family. The reason why Yang Ming became so strong was that he was about to leave for Yunnan immediately. If the things around him weren't dealt with, Yang Ming wouldn't feel at ease. So, for those who were still provoking him during this period, Yang Ming had no patience to deal with them slowly. If you provoke me, then I will kill you so that you can't harass me, my family, and my friends in the future. Yang Ming killed someone in front of Zhang Bin and Zhang Jifang. It was also the first time. Although Zhang Bin might know a little about his strength, he hadn't seen it with his own eyes. It was just that Yang Ming didn't care about these anymore. He also believed that Zhang Bin and Zhang Jifang wouldn't do anything that was disadvantageous to him. Indeed, Yang Ming's actions today didn't affect Zhang Bin, but Zhang Jifang was really shocked. The Yang Ming who went to Yunnan with him had now become so strong and ruthless. He didn't know what kind of people his subordinates were. They were actually holding guns. However, although Zhang Jifang was shocked, he didn't have any other thoughts. After all, Yang Ming wouldn't harm him and Zhang Bin, so he didn't have to be afraid of anything. Bro, you are so cool today. Zhang Bin held back for a long time and finally praised sincerely. Don't gamble in the future. I can save you once or twice, but I can't save you forever. Yang Ming didn't hear Zhang Bin's words and directly lectured him. Now I'm here. What if I'm not here? Yes, I know. Zhang Bin nodded quickly, but he said, Bro, you are my bro for life. How can you not care about me? What if I die? Yang Ming said coldly. This. It was the first time that Zhang Bin heard Yang Ming talk to him in such a tone. He was a little stunned, but he didn't think much about it. He thought that Yang Ming was angry, so he said that. Yang Ming meant that he didn't want him to gamble in the future, so Zhang Bin quickly promised, Don't worry, bro. I won't touch these in the future. It's not just gambling. It's the same for other things. In the future, you should be more low-key. Don't be too flamboyant. Run the jewelry company honestly. Don't run around. Yang Ming continued to lecture. Yes, I know. Zhang Bin was a bit puzzled. This wasn't Yang Ming's usual style of doing things. What happened today? Chattering non-stop. Chapter 1743. Where did you get this car? Yang Ming looked at Golden Bull's car with some doubts. It was a Chrysler Grand Caravan business car. It had been specially modified to be bulletproof, and the configuration inside had been changed accordingly. It seemed that the car was not temporarily rented or borrowed. Leader, this is the car of the Charles family's Las Vegas branch. Golden Bull smiled. These weapons are also provided by the branch here. Otherwise, it would be very troublesome for so many of us to cross the border with so many weapons. It turns out that the Charles family has a branch here. Yang Ming nodded. It seemed that it was not a coincidence that the Charles family could become so powerful. Their strength was inferior to the Butterfly family, but they made up for it in other aspects. The established network points were enough to make up for the gap between them. Yeah, Las Vegas is a city with a relatively large business volume. The assassination missions that the Charles family received were basically aimed at some big shots and dignitaries. They would come here to play in many cases, so there are more opportunities to make a move here. Golden Bull explained, "Leader, where are you going?" Douglas Vast Hotel. Yang Ming said, "You can just send us there, and then be on standby when you go back." Okay. Golden Bull nodded without hesitation. After talking to Golden Bull, Yang Ming turned and walked to Zhang Bin and Zhang Jifang, and got in the car with them. Although Yang Ming had shown enough strength today, there were still some things that he was not ready to tell Zhang Bin. These things could only be discussed slowly. The shock that he received today was already very strong. Golden Bull asked his men to go back first, and then personally drove Yang Ming and others to the Douglas Vast Hotel. Bro. Zhang Bin was in the car. He wanted to say something several times, but he stopped. Today's incident had a huge impact on him. Zhang Bin, what do you want to say? Just say it. There is nothing to hide between us. Yang Ming also noticed that Zhang Bin seemed to have something to say, so he asked with a smile. Bro, did you just kill someone? Zhang Bin hesitated and expressed the worry in his heart. Oh, you are worried about this? Yang Ming listened to Zhang Bin's worry and was a little dumbfounded. However, as an ordinary person, it was normal and understandable for Zhang Bin to worry about these things. Although Yang Ming and class were gambling with their lives, it was one thing to gamble with their lives and suicide. It was another thing to be murdered. So, it was normal for Zhang Bin to worry that something would happen to Yang Ming. Yeah, bro, and there were so many people. What if they call? Calm, Yang Ming smiled. Smith is not that stupid. This matter was originally done by them in violation of the rules. Moreover, they are gambling with their lives in the casino. If it is really exposed, their casino will not be able to operate. Do you think the regulatory authorities will allow them to do this? Zhang Bin thought about Yang Ming's words carefully. Yang Ming was right, but he was still a little worried. But, don't worry. In the upper class, once you reach a certain level, you won't use those ordinary means to solve problems. They have suffered a loss this time. They will either give in or take revenge. Yang Ming said, but you don't have to worry. They are targeting me, not you. You and Uncle Zhang are just being used by them. Ah. Zhang Bin had felt that something was wrong before. It seemed that there was no need for Smith and class to go through so much trouble for him and Zhang Jifang. Then, Yang Ming, who was lured out, was formally gambling with class. Zhang Bin felt that things were unusual. At this moment, after hearing Yang Ming's analysis, Zhang Bin understood that the person these people were targeting was Yang Ming, not him. Bro, who are these people? How did you provoke them? Why do you have enemies abroad? Zhang Bin was surprised. Oh, how would I know? Yang Ming smiled bitterly. In fact, he had never understood why the behind-the-scenes boss was always going against him. Judging from the current situation, Yang Ming was still very puzzled. Zhang Bin listened and agreed. Judging from Yang Ming's current performance, he didn't seem to know what these people were up to. If he knew in advance, Yang Ming wouldn't have been patient enough to gamble with them. He would have directly called people in to snatch them. Then you should be careful, said Zhang Bin. I don't care. You just have to be careful. Yang Ming said, you are someone around me. This identity is likely to be used by some people with ulterior motives. For example, this time, they found me through you. So, if you have nothing to do in the future, just stay in Songjiang. After all, I have been operating there for a long time. No one can do anything to you. Everyone is our own people. I got it, bro, don't worry. I will try to be low-key in the future. Zhang Bin understood the general situation. He didn't want to trouble Yang Ming. During this critical period, he naturally had to be careful. Although he didn't know what happened to Yang Ming today. He was like an uncle who kept talking to him, but Zhang Bin knew that Yang Ming wouldn't just talk nonsense. He wouldn't just casually say something meaningless. Well, go back to the hotel and have a good rest. Don't go out. Leave the next thing to me. Yang Ming patted Zhang Bin's shoulder and said, Wang Mei is a good girl. She didn't abandon you. But you and Cece have to deal with the things over there. Don't worry, bro. I know what to do. Zhang Bin nodded. Zhang Jifeng had been sitting aside. He was calmer than Zhang Bin. Although he saw Yang Ming kill people in front of him today, he wasn't as worried as Zhang Bin. He also saw that the competition between Yang Ming and the people behind class was a high-level competition. They wouldn't care about the life and death of their subordinates. Moreover, the purpose of the people behind class was to kill Yang Ming. So, they had already reached a state of life and death. Naturally, no one would call the police. Just like how Yang Ming didn't choose to call the police, Zhang Jifeng also learned a lesson this time. Although this time he and Zhang Bin were targeted because of Yang Ming, from another point of view, if he wasn't so fond of gambling, and if his eyes were red from gambling, the other party wouldn't have had the opportunity to take advantage of him. It was his own fault that caused this outcome. Right, Uncle Zhang, why did you think of going to the Nanqing casino? Yang Ming had been thinking about this problem before. This Nanqing casino was obviously in cahoots with the boss behind class. It was premeditated and not a sudden idea. In other words, why did Zhang Bin and Zhang Jifeng choose to go to the Nanqing casino? There were many casinos in Las Vegas. There was even a small casino in the Douglas Vast Hotel itself. This is the organizer of the International Jewelry Association. They gave each member a chip redemption coupon worth $5,000. So, Zhang Bin and I thought that it would be a waste not to play, so we went. Zhang Jifeng explained with some embarrassment. International Jewelry Association? Yang Ming was stunned for a moment. Then, he figured out the cause and effect of the whole thing all of a sudden. It was the International Jewelry Association again. Last time, at the International Jewelry Festival held in Songjiang, the behind-the-scenes boss bribed the people of the International Jewelry Association to tamper with the exhibition hall and set up a trap for the Mingyang Security Company to participate. This time, it was the International Jewelry Association again. In other words, this time, the $5,000 voucher was probably the behind-the-scenes boss idea. He sent these vouchers through some organizers of the International Jewelry Association. After all, $5,000 was not a small amount. Who wouldn't want to take advantage of it? So, Zhang Jifeng went with Zhang Bin. Why, Yang Ming, do you know about this? Zhang Jifeng saw Yang Ming thinking about it, so he asked. Last time, at the jewelry exhibition in Songjiang, they were the ones who caused trouble. I believe that Uncle Zhang knows about the incident last time, right? Said Yang Ming. Oh, of course, I know about the incident last time. The theft of valuable jewelry was also caused by them. Zhang Jifeng also understood why Yang Ming said this. Chapter 1744. The people who are against me should have bribed some of the senior members of the Jewelry Association. That's why such a thing happened. I think that the $5,000 redemption coupon should be specifically targeted at you. Yang Ming said, the others just took advantage of it. Yeah. I was wondering why they gave me and Zhang Bin one redemption coupon each. The others only gave one. I thought that I got a big bargain at that time. Their staff also regarded Zhang Bin as an independent participant. Zhang Jifeng sighed. It seems that it is really a big loss to be greedy for small gains. They gave you two. It seems that they really spared no effort. Yang Ming was speechless after listening. This Zhang Jifeng's vigilance is really low. He didn't notice such an obvious flaw. This redemption coupon is worth $5,000. There must be a number. How can they just randomly give it out? However, Zhang Jifeng couldn't have thought so much before. Zhang Jifeng smiled a little embarrassedly. Next time, I won't participate in these meetings. I'll just make money in Songjiang honestly. Yeah, Uncle Zhang. Zhang Bin has the connections that I left behind. He can make money in Songjiang peacefully. He won't have to worry about food and drink for the rest of his life. Yang Ming said, as for the rest, don't think about it. Zhang Jifeng nodded. He also felt that Yang Ming's tone was a bit strange. It seemed that Yang Ming wanted to leave here for a long journey. However, since Yang Ming didn't say it clearly, he wouldn't ask casually. Back at the Douglas Vast Hotel, Yang Ming let Golden Bull go back, but Golden Bull insisted on staying and accompanying Yang Ming. He said that Yang Ming could ask him to do anything at any time. In this case, Yang Ming didn't insist anymore and nodded in agreement. Yang Ming, the rooms in this hotel are very tight. Why don't we change to another hotel? Zhang Jifeng didn't know that Yang Ming had already booked a room here. However, when they came to stay, the rooms here were really tight, so they had no choice but to stay in one suite. Otherwise, Zhang Jifeng would have wanted to stay in 2 rooms. After all, although Wang Mei was Zhang Bin's girlfriend, she wasn't really his daughter-in-law. After all, Zhao Sisi was still there. It was awkward for Zhang Jifeng to stay with her. No need. Let's just stay here. Yang Ming waved his hand and went straight to the hotel's front desk. Lane. Ah. The waiter knew Yang Ming. He knew Batterton's attitude toward Yang Ming yesterday. It was extremely respectful, so he quickly nodded and said, "Yes, I will give it to you now." The waiter didn't dare to offend Yang Ming. He gave the 3rd room card upstairs to Yang Ming. "Sir, this is the 3rd room card. You can tell Batterton." Yang Ming nodded and walked over to Zhang Bin and Zhang Jifeng with the room card. "Okay, it's done. Let's go upstairs." Zhang Bin and Zhang Jifeng didn't follow Yang Ming, so they didn't know what Yang Ming said to the waiter. However, they were surprised when they saw that the waiter gave Yang Ming a room card after Yang Ming went over and only said a few words. Could it be that Yang Ming also knows the people at the Douglas Vast Hotel? Yang Ming's social circle is wide enough. Zhang Bin and Zhang Jifeng both sighed in their hearts. A year ago, Yang Ming was still an ordinary high school graduate. A few of them went to Yunnan together. At that time, Yang Ming didn't have any special connections. In just 1 year, Yang Ming had developed to the point where he could call the wind and summon the rain abroad. Yang Ming, Zhang Bin, Zhang Jifeng, and Golden Bull entered the elevator together. Yang Ming pressed the elevator button for the highest floor, while Zhang Jifeng pressed the button for their previous room. They didn't know that Wang Mei had moved upstairs to live. "It's upstairs. Wang Mei has moved up. You can check out of the previous room when you have time." Yang Ming smiled and said, "So, we are all next to each other." "Ah. You have moved up." Zhang Jifeng was even more surprised. Although he didn't know that the rooms upstairs were high-end presidential suites, and he had never been upstairs, he naturally thought that the rooms upstairs were ordinary rooms. Even so, he felt that Yang Ming was amazing enough. He didn't check out of the previous room, but he could connect them to a new room. Moreover, they were next to each other. What kind of relationship did Yang Ming have with the hotel's owner to be able to do this? Zhang Bing and Zhang Jifeng also understood that when a hotel said that it was full, it didn't mean that it was really full. It was just that there were some reserved rooms that weren't available for public use. These rooms were for those with connections, and Yang Ming actually got 3 rooms without any effort. After Yang Ming walked into the elevator, the waiter quickly called Batterton. Although he knew that the boss's attitude toward Yang Ming was different, he also took the initiative to give Yang Ming a room this time. He didn't know if the boss would be unhappy. So, the waiter called to apologize to the boss. Batterton was playing an office game with his secretary in the office. At a critical moment, the phone on the table rang. Batterton was shocked, and so was the secretary. "Who is it? It's so annoying to call at this time." The secretary complained. "Don't dawdle." Batterton didn't dare to neglect. Yesterday, he was scolded by the family master because he didn't pick up the phone. If it weren't for Yang Ming forgiving him, he would have almost died. He knew the Douglas family's rules. So, How could he dare to neglect today's call? Yang Ming was still staying here. His nerves were now highly tense. The secretary was scolded and felt a little wronged. She thought, don't you usually complain like this? What's wrong with you today? However, she didn't have the mood to play with Batterton when she saw him. She could only sit aside with a pout. Hello, I'm Batterton. Batterton's voice was extremely respectful. Even the secretary was surprised when she heard it. Is this the boss? Mr. Batterton, I'm the waiter at the front desk on the first floor. I have something to report to you. The waiter said, Mr. Batterton, Mr. Yang Ming brought a guest back and asked me for a VIP room card. I didn't ask for your permission in time, so I took the initiative to give him the third room card. Mr. Batterton, if you are unhappy, please punish me. The waiter couldn't afford to offend Yang Ming, but he couldn't afford to offend Batterton either. So, he carefully asked for punishment. Oh. What's the punishment? You did a good job. I want to give you a raise and promote you. Batterton was very satisfied when he heard the waiter's way of handling the matter. If the waiter had called to ask for his permission first and dawdled for a long time, Yang Ming would have become impatient and resentful. Then, he would be in trouble. So, he appreciated the waiter's prompt decision. Ah. The waiter didn't expect to gain a blessing in disguise. He was surprised. Thank you, Mr. Batterton. And, you don't have to thank me. Remember, if Mr. Yang needs anything, try to satisfy him first. You don't have to report to me. Batterton said, I think you should be the vice president of the hotel today. You are in charge of service quality. Gather all the waiters for a meeting in a while and pass on this instruction. Ah. Yes. The waiter was shocked. I became a vice president just like that. Isn't this promotion speed too fast? After hanging up the phone, Batterton breathed a sigh of relief. This waiter still has some insight. Yesterday, he also saw through my attitude towards Yang Ming. Today, he decisively gave Yang Ming the room card. However, he was able to admit his mistake to me afterward. He is a talent. Such a person would be useful to the hotel if I promote him. Otherwise, Batterton wouldn't promote just anyone. Even if the waiter was satisfied with his work, he would at most reward him with some bonuses. Chapter 1745. Ka. The elevator door slowly opened. Zhang Bin and Zhang Jifeng were a little shocked and they saw the decoration of the corridor outside the elevator. This. Zhang Bin and Zhang Jifeng opened their mouths in surprise at the same time. The decoration of the top floor and the decorations of the lower floors were simply worlds apart. This place could be described as a magnificent palace. They didn't expect this hotel to have such a luxurious floor. The flashy lights, elegant design, noble furnishings, luxurious furniture. The aristocratic atmosphere permeated everywhere, just like a dream. Above the corridor was a large piece of plexiglass, which allowed them to see the scenery in the sky directly. At night, it would be even more beautiful to watch the starry sky from here. This kind of luxurious, godlike treatment shocked Zhang Bin and Zhang Jifeng. They had only seen the facilities of this level of hotel on the internet and TV. In fact, they had never experienced it at all. This kind of thing was too far away for them. By now, they could be sure that the relationship between Yang Ming and the hotel owner was not simple, and it was not simple at all. He could easily get 3 top-notch luxury suites. This was not something an ordinary person could do. Zhang Bin, you and Uncle Zhang are in room 2. Go back and rest first. I will be in room 1. If there is anything, call the internal line. Yang Ming also saw the shock of Zhang Bin and Zhang Jifeng, but he didn't say much. Okay, bro. Zhang Bin nodded. He couldn't wait to see what the room looked like now. Yang Ming took out the room card and opened the door of the room. Zhang Bin was also knocking on the door of room 2. After a while, the door opened, and Wang Mei's excited scream came from inside. Yang Ming smiled slightly and didn't disturb them. He turned and entered the room, while Golden Bull entered room 3. After Smith waited for Yang Ming to leave, he didn't dare to neglect. After all, class died in the casino. He had to quickly report to the boss behind the scenes. The Nanching family did not only have the Nanching Casino in Las Vegas. It was just that the casino accounted for a relatively large proportion. The Nanching family was also involved in many industries such as the catering industry, real estate, and so on. Therefore, it was impossible for the person in charge of the Nanching family in Las Vegas to be in charge of the Nanching Casino at all times. In his opinion, with Smith as an insider and Class's strong foreign aid, wouldn't it be easy to deal with a foreigner? So, he wasn't worried at all. Govesick was sitting in a spacious and bright office, reading a proposal in his hand. With the support of the Nanching family, he was likely to be elected as a member of the Las Vegas City Council. Although he was already powerful enough in Las Vegas and was the behind-the-scenes leader of the Guillotine Gang, one of the 3 major underground gangs, who would complain about having more power in their hands? If Govesick could get this position as a member of the council, his power would expand further. Maybe he would be appreciated by the higher-ups in the family and be arranged to be in a higher position. It was even possible for him to be a family elder. The phone suddenly rang, and Govesick frowned. He had put all his efforts into winning over people in order to win the position of the council member in one fell swoop. "Hello, this is Govesick." Govesick picked up the phone. "Boss, it's Smith." Smith said carefully. "Oh, Smith, how are things going on Class's side? Is it going well?" Although Govesick was a little dissatisfied with Smith interrupting his train of thought, Class was someone who the family master had instructed him to cooperate seriously. So, Govesick naturally couldn't take it lightly. Although Govesick knew that Class was not weak, especially with strong reinforcements, he still had to at least show some concern. "Boss, I just wanted to report this to you." Smith hesitated and said in a frustrated voice. "Oh, are you satisfied with Class's side?" Govesick's mind was not on this, so he naturally did not hear the frustration in Smith's words. He had never considered the possibility that Class would fail or even die. Not to mention the cooperation on Smith's side, the people that Class had brought over were quite strong. A team of assassins and a special operations team. If these people couldn't handle it, it would be a fantasy story. Smith saw that the boss had not figured out the situation and couldn't help but sigh. However, he still had to report truthfully, "Boss, Class is dead." "Oh, if he's dead, then he's dead." "What? Wait, what did you say? Class is dead?" Govesick's eyes widened when he heard Smith's words. He asked in disbelief, "Smith, are you kidding me? How could Class be dead?" "Boss. It's actually like this." Smith didn't hide it and told the story of Class and Yang Ming's life bet from beginning to end. "You mean, that Yang Ming killed Class?" Govesick was a little puzzled. "Where are the people brought by Class? Why didn't I see them make a move? Did these people all disappear?" "Yes. Boss, Yang Ming killed Class." Smith said, moreover, he also said something ruthless. He asked the Nanching family's family master to meet him at the Douglas Vast Hotel within 24 hours. Otherwise, he will bear the consequences. Humph. What a big tone. Govesick simply didn't take Yang Ming's words to heart. In his opinion, this Yang Ming was just confident that he was not weak. After killing Class, his confidence swelled, and then he said something ruthless. Yes. Smith had already passed on the message anyway. As for what the boss decided, it was the boss' business. It had nothing to do with him. "I see. That's all for now." Govesick frowned and hung up the phone. Class is dead? This made Govesick very annoyed. Although this person did not belong to the Nanching family, the family master of the Nanching family personally greeted him and asked him to cooperate with him. Although the family master did not ask him to protect this person before, this person was now killed in his own territory. Naturally, he was still responsible for it. Damn, I'm finding trouble for myself at this critical moment. Now that Gavasik was bent on running for counselor, he obviously couldn't do it without the support of the Nanching family. This incident happened so suddenly. If he didn't handle it well, the family master would definitely have a bad impression of him. He didn't know what was wrong with this class. He had so many subordinates, but he was still killed. He didn't know if he had a pig's brain. He had already known from Smith's narration that after class entered the casino, the two teams under class's command did not appear from beginning to end. In other words, class was killed before he had time to show his power. What a fool. He had so many subordinates, yet he still went to show off. Isn't there something wrong with him? Gavasik was a little speechless about class's approach. He naturally didn't know that the reason why class's subordinates did not appear was that Yang Ming's subordinates had already controlled these people. He thought that class did not coordinate well and was careless in not bringing his subordinates, resulting in such a situation. However, regardless of whether class was a fool or not, since class had died in his territory, Gavasik couldn't sit back and do nothing even though he had no responsibility. He had to give an explanation to the family. Yang Ming. Damn, this kid is finding trouble for me. I absolutely can't let him go. Gavasik muttered Yang Ming's name. No matter what hatred he had with class, since he killed class in his territory, he couldn't let him leave here alive. The Douglas Vast Hotel? A sneer appeared at the corner of Gavasik's mouth. Humph, this kid still dares to say where he lives. It seems that I have saved the effort of looking for him. In that case, let him wait for death in the hotel. Chapter 1746. Of course, Gavasik would not act rashly before sending someone to the Douglas Vast Hotel. After all, the Douglas Vast Hotel belonged to another force, the Douglas family. Although it could not be compared to the Nanching family, it was still a big family after all. Before he went, he had to inform them. After all, he had to give face on some things. Thinking of this, Gavasik picked up the phone and dialed Batterton's number. Hello? Hello, I'm Batterton. Batterton had become very polite when answering the phone these 2 days because Yang Ming was staying in the hotel. He was afraid that the family master or Yang Ming would call at the last minute. Mr. Batterton? I'm Gavasik. Gavasik said enthusiastically. Although the two people belonged to different families, they were both reputable figures in Las Vegas. Their relationship with each other was quite good. Hello, Mr. Gavasik. Batterton did not expect Gavasik to call him at this time. However, he suddenly remembered that Yang Ming had asked him to help collect information about the Nanching casino. Batterton's heart suddenly shuddered, and he became vigilant and careful with Gavasik. This matter was related to Yang Ming, so he had to treat it cautiously. What's the matter? It's like this. Someone is causing trouble in our casino, but this person is staying at your Douglas Vast Hotel. If I bring someone to arrest him, I naturally have to inform you, said Gavasik. Oh, I see. When Batterton heard Gavasik's words, he thought that this was a trivial matter. The other party had greeted him just as a kind reminder. If they really wanted to arrest him, there was nothing he could do. Since Mr. Batterton has no objection, I will send someone over in a while. I hope you can instruct your subordinates to cooperate, said Gavasik. I will treat you to golf some other day. This is not a problem, said Batterton. By the way, what is the name of the person you want to arrest? I can arrange it in advance. Oh, his name is Yang Ming. He is a foreigner, said Gavasik. What? Yang Ming? Batterton was shocked. Batterton, what's wrong with you? Gavasik heard that Batterton's voice was a little strange, but he couldn't see Batterton's expression, so he naturally didn't think too much about it. Nothing. I'll arrange it now. I'll call you when I'm done, said Batterton. Is that so? Then, should I bring someone there directly or wait for your call? Gavasik was a little inexplicable. Wait for my call first. I have to confirm if the guest is in the hotel. Otherwise, wouldn't your trip be in vain? Batterton explained. Yes, you're right. Although Gavasik felt that Batterton's words were a bit strange, it was reasonable, so Gavasik did not suspect anything. He hung up the phone according to Batterton's instructions. After Batterton hung up Gavasik's phone call, he broke out in a cold sweat. Fortunately, I was nosy enough to ask. Otherwise, it would be troublesome. This matter involves Yang Ming. I can't be careless. Although Batterton didn't know Yang Ming's specific background, his identity must be extraordinary since even the family master respected and valued him so much. Since Gavasik wanted to make a move on Yang Ming, Batterton naturally wouldn't say much to him. He had to consult the family master first before making a decision. Therefore, Batterton perfunctorily delayed Gavasik for a while. Batterton organized his words and dialed the family master, Kayik's phone. Hello, is this the family master? I'm Batterton. Kayik had given his private phone number to Batterton. Since this matter involved Yang Ming, Kayik told Batterton to inform him immediately if there was any news about Yang Ming. Oh, Batterton, what's the matter? At this moment, Kayik was discussing very important matters with several elders in the family. However, when he saw Batterton's number, he quickly made a gesture and picked up the phone. Several elders present were a little puzzled. Isn't Batterton just the person in charge of a family business in Las Vegas? Why does the family master value him so much? Why does he have to pick up the phone at this time? At the same time, several old guys were dissatisfied with Kayik's behavior of picking up the phone. Can you pick up the phone during a meeting just because you are the family master? Why do you ask us to turn off the phone? Isn't this too unfair? However, Kayik's next words made these old guys shut their mouths involuntarily. Family master, I have something important to report to you, said Batterton. It's about Mr. Yang Ming. Oh. Is it about Mr. Yang Ming? What's the matter? Tell me quickly. Asked Kayik quickly. It's like this. Previously, the owner of the Nanching casino, Gavasik, called me and said that a guest staying in our hotel was causing trouble in their casino. They were coming to arrest him, so I greeted them and asked what the guest's name was. I remembered that Gavasik told me that his name was Yang Ming, so I delayed the guest first and told Gavasik that I would help him check if Mr. Yang was in the hotel. I asked him to wait for my reply, so I quickly reported to you. Said Batterton. Batterton, you did a good job. Kayik was shocked when he heard Batterton's words. This is a big matter. It involves Yang Ming, so I have to be cautious. Family master, what do you think we should do next? Asked Batterton carefully. What to do next? Kayik was in a dilemma for a while. In his opinion, with Yang Ming's strength, there was no need for him to be afraid of the Nanching family. Wasn't the Lancer family also one of the most prosperous families in Europe? In the end, they were finished in an instant. But the key was his attitude. Although Yang Ming didn't need his help, he still had to show some sincerity. Thinking of this, Kayik said, in this case, you immediately report this matter to Mr. Yang Ming truthfully. Then ask him what he wants and if he needs our help. If he needs your help, you have full authority to cooperate with him. You don't have to ask me anymore. Ah. Batterton was stunned. He was a little puzzled. Why is the family master sparing no effort on Yang Ming's matter? However, he said with some worry, family master, Gavasik's power is not weak. The Guillotine Gang, one of the 3 major underground gangs here, seems to be their people. You don't have to worry about this. Cooperate with Mr. Yang. No matter what happens in the end, the family will reward you. Kayik reassured Batterton. Okay, then I will report to Mr. Yang now. Batterton got Kayik's affirmative answer and calmed down. After hanging up the phone, Kayik shook his head with a hint of sarcasm in the corner of his mouth. This Nanching family is really in a hurry to die. You should be thankful that Yang Ming didn't trouble you. Now you want to take the initiative to trouble Yang Ming. AI. All the elders present understood the meaning of Kaik's call. It seemed that this Nanching family really didn't want to live anymore. Why did they have to provoke Yang Ming? Everyone present had a deep understanding of Yang Ming's power. After Batterton reported to Kaik, he quickly dialed the phone number in Yang Ming's room. He had already learned from the waiter that Yang Ming had returned to the hotel. Hello? Yang Ming picked up the internal phone call. At first, he thought it was Zhang Bin or Golden Bull calling, but it was indeed Batterton's voice coming from the other side. Mr. Yang, am I bothering you? I have something important to report to you. Batterton unconsciously used the tone he usually used to report to the family master. In his opinion, since Kaik was so respectful to Yang Ming, shouldn't he respect Yang Ming even more? Oh, it's okay. Go ahead. Yang Ming didn't know what Batterton wanted to say to him at this time, so he was a little puzzled. It's like this, Mr. Yang. Just now, Govasik, the person in charge of the Nanching family's business in Las Vegas, called me. He said that you are causing trouble in their casino, so he wants to bring someone to deal with you. He wanted to give me a heads up in advance. Batterton repeated the contents of Govasik's call to Yang Ming. I have now stalled them. Mr. Yang, how do you think this matter should be dealt with? Do you need me to mobilize people over? Chapter 1747. Mobilize people? Yang Ming said disapprovingly, no need. I appreciate your kindness, but I will handle it myself. Yang Ming naturally understood Batterton's thoughts. If Batterton didn't have Kaik's support behind him, he wouldn't have said these words. But in contrast, Kaik understood Yang Ming's strength. He also knew that Yang Ming didn't need his help at all. His purpose in doing this was just to show goodwill. Well, then what should I do now? Batterton didn't know why Yang Ming was so careless. The Nanching casino was not weak. Even if he mobilized people, he might not be his opponent. Could Yang Ming deal with Govasik by himself? In fact, if possible, Batterton didn't want to offend Govasik because Govasik's power in Las Vegas was obviously greater than the Douglas Vast Hotel. Batterton didn't want to provoke him. Now that Yang Ming didn't want him to participate, it was clear that he was excluding him. No matter what the outcome of the matter was, it had nothing to do with him. Thinking of this, Batterton was very grateful. He felt that Yang Ming was a good person. At least, he was very tolerant. Who called you? Go and call him back. Tell him that 3 hours have passed and there are still 21 hours left. Ask their family master to come and see me within 21 hours. Otherwise, he will bear the consequences, Yang Ming said to Batterton. Batterton was stunned after hearing Yang Ming's words. You don't have to worry about him targeting you. Just say that you came to me and I asked you to pass on these words, said Yang Ming. Mr. Yang, I'm not afraid of him. Although our Douglas family is not as powerful as the Nanching family in Las Vegas, you will definitely anger him if you say this. Batterton expressed his concern tactfully. Mr. Yang, although I don't know how good your skills are, there is a saying that goes, outnumbered is outnumbered. You are alone, and there are so many of them. I'm afraid that something will happen. It's fine. Just do as I say. Yang Ming naturally knew that Batterton was doing this out of good intentions and not because he was looking down on him. However, Yang Ming had his own plans for Yang Ming. Seeing Yang Ming's firm attitude, Batterton had no choice but to agree and put down the phone. Batterton hesitated for a moment and decided to call the family head, Kaik. Although Kaik had said before that he would be fully responsible for the matters here, Yang Ming didn't need his help at all. If something happened to Yang Ming, he couldn't explain it to the family master. Therefore, after weighing the pros and cons, Batterton decided to call Kaik and report what had happened here. Hello? Batterton, how is it? Kaik saw that it was Batterton calling and answered without hesitation. Patriarch, I have something to report to you. Batterton said carefully, it's like this. Mr. Yang said that he didn't need any help from me. Instead, he asked me to pass a message to Govasik. What message? Asked Kaik. Kaik had already expected that Yang Ming didn't need his help. If Yang Ming wanted to destroy the Douglas family, it would be a matter of seconds. Why would he need his help? It was good enough that Kaik didn't find it troublesome. Mr. Yang asked me to tell Govasik to let their family master come to see Mr. Yang within 24 hours. Otherwise, they will bear the consequences, said Batterton. Oh. Really? Ha 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 ha. Kaik couldn't help but laugh after hearing it. Patriarch, what are you laughing at? Batterton was a little puzzled. Isn't Mr. Yang a friend of the Patriarch? Why is the Patriarch laughing at Mr. Yang? In fact, Kaik was indeed laughing, but he wasn't laughing at Yang Ming. He was laughing at the Nanqing family. The Nanqing family is going to be destroyed. The funny thing is that those fools don't even know what kind of person they have offended. It's really pitiful and sad. Kaik sighed. If it were me, I wouldn't even have time to apologize. How would I dare to send people to provoke them? There's nothing I can do about people whose brains are squeezed by the door. Patriarch, what are you talking about? Batterton was puzzled by Kaik's words. Nothing. It's just that the Nanqing family is going to be finished. You don't have to care so much. Just do what Mr. Yang says, instructed Kaik. Yes, Patriarch. I understand. After Batterton got Kaik's affirmative answer, he dared to do it boldly. Kaik hung up Batterton's phone call and smiled at several family elders on the side. I don't know how the Nanqing family provoked Yang Ming. They are probably going to be finished soon. Huh, really? That's really good news. One of the elders heard Kaik's words and immediately laughed happily. His grandson once had a conflict with a child of the Nanqing family. As a result, because the Nanqing family was powerful, the elder had no choice but to take his grandson to apologize and pay a large sum of money to settle the matter. While teaching his grandson a lesson, the elder also hated the Nanqing family. Now that he heard that the Nanqing family had provoked Yang Ming, he was extremely happy. God is really fair. Although I can't afford to provoke the Nanqing family, someone can. Moreover, it's someone who can be provoked. This Nanqing family is probably going to be finished. The other elders naturally knew the grudge between this laughing elder and the Nanqing family, so they also laughed. After all, the Nanqing family and the Douglas family had a lot of business dealings, and there was a competitive relationship between them. Now that the Nanqing family was finished, they were naturally one of the beneficiaries. Patriarch, I think we should maintain a good relationship with Mr. Yang. Then, if any family dares to provoke us in the future, we can use Mr. Yang's name, suggested an elder. Don't talk nonsense. Kaik glared at him. Do you think Mr. Yang is someone who will be a thug for others? Don't be whimsical. It will only cause unnecessary trouble. When the elder heard what Kaik said, he felt that it was right. If Yang Ming knew that these people wanted to use Yang Ming's name to teach others a lesson, he would definitely be the first to settle accounts with his family. Patriarch, I'm just saying it casually. The elder quickly shut up. Well, our relationship with Mr. Yang is quite good now. Although there were misunderstandings in the past, I have contacted Mr. Yang several times and given him some benefits. I can see that Mr. Yang is not the kind of person who takes benefits for free. Kaik said, for example, in Batterton's case this time, Mr. Yang didn't kill them all. Instead, he gave Batterton face. In fact, this face is also given to our Douglas family. At least our relationship is harmonious now. This is enough. Kaik's words made all the elders nod in agreement. After Batterton hung up the phone call with Kaik, he called Govasik. Mr. Batterton, how is it? Is there any news? Is that person staying in your hotel? Govasik had been waiting for Batterton's reply. He had already contacted the guillotine gang's boss. He would send a team of people to arrest Yang Ming in a while. In fact, the guillotine gang's boss was just a spokesperson for Govesick. It was just that Govesick was hiding behind the scenes. Mr. Govesick. Batterton smiled bitterly. I was just about to talk to you about this. After my investigation, the young Ming you mentioned is indeed staying in our hotel. I was afraid that he would run away, so I sent people to surround his room first. However, he seemed to know my intentions and told me that he wouldn't run away at all. He also asked me to tell you that there are only 21 hours left in the 24 hours. He asked your Nanching family's family master to come to the hotel to see him within 21 hours. Otherwise, you will bear the consequences. Batterton was afraid that Govesick would interrupt, so he finished his words in one breath. He had already made up a reason before. Otherwise, it would be a bit abrupt to say that he was passing a message to Yang Ming, so he used the previous excuse. Chapter 1748. This kid's tone is really big, huh? Govesick listened to Batterton's words, but he didn't care because Smith had already said something similar when he reported to him before. So, Govesick was a little accustomed to hearing it for the second time. As for Batterton's previous lame reasons, Govesick didn't think much about it, so he didn't doubt it. Yeah, that's what he said. He also told me not to meddle in other people's business. Otherwise, he won't be polite to me. Batterton smiled bitterly. Mr. Govesick, you also know that I'm in the hotel business. Naturally, I'm not very strong. I don't dare to offend such a person. I got it. In that case, you don't have to worry about it. I'll deal with him, said Govesick. Okay, I was afraid that he would trouble me, so I changed him to the luxurious VIP room on the top floor. When you come, you can find him. Batterton said, he's in private room number 1. I got it. Govesick found it funny in his heart. Isn't this Batterton too cowardly? He is scared to this extent with just a few words. Not only did he not dare to meddle, but he also changed him to the best private room. Well, I won't intervene in this matter. Batterton expressed his attitude. Govesick thought, I told you not to intervene. Since you don't care about your hotel, I can go and cause trouble with confidence. After hanging up the phone, Govesick dialed the number of the guillotine gang's boss, Headless Wolf. This Headless Wolf was just a nickname. He was an Indian who was usually in charge of the daily affairs of the guillotine gang. He was actually Govesick's spokesperson. Headless Wolf, immediately send someone to the Douglas Vast Hotel and catch Yang Ming for me, Govesick instructed. In his opinion, this matter was simply a piece of cake. Yes, Mr. Govesick. Headless Wolf was very respectful to Govesick. Although the guillotine gang had a gray income, as a new gang, they were constantly recruiting. How could that gray income be enough? If it wasn't for Govesick's support, they would have been swallowed up by other gangs. Headless Wolf was very excited to be the leader of a rapidly developing gang. He felt that he had to do everything Govesick instructed him to win Govesick's support and trust. Only then would he be able to stay in this position for a long time. After receiving Govesick's order, Headless Wolf ordered his confidant, Mike, to take 10 of his men in 2 commercial vehicles and set off for the Douglas Vast Hotel. In his opinion, it was already very good to send Mike to capture a person. Mike was his confidant and had a high position in the gang. He could be considered a small captain under him. All of them wore black suits and white gloves. The guillotine gang had sufficient funds, and Govesick also attached great importance to these external things. Therefore, the attire of these subordinates was comparable to those of world-class gangs. The car stopped at the entrance of the Douglas Vast Hotel. Mike, dressed in casual clothes, walked into the hotel lobby with 10 burly men following behind him. Previously, Batterton had gone downstairs after making the phone call. He stood in the hotel lobby and waited for Govesick's men to arrive. Batterton's expression suddenly tightened when he saw a young man in casual clothes walking in with 10 burly men. He knew this Mike. He was a confidant of the guillotine gang's boss, Headless Wolf. Batterton had seen him at a banquet before. Mr. Mike, you're here? Batterton immediately greeted him. And the boss asked me to arrest someone. Please forgive me, Mr. Batterton. Although Mike said a polite sentence, his expression was still cold. It's okay. I have already said that I won't interfere in this matter. Batterton didn't care. After all, these people were not good people. He didn't care about their attitudes. Where is he? Asked Mike. He's on the top floor of the hotel, private room 1. Batterton said, you can go up from the elevator over there. Okay, I got it. There's nothing for you to do here. Mike waved his hand and walked into the elevator with his men. Looking at the slowly rising elevator, Batterton breathed a sigh of relief. He quickly picked up the intercom at the front desk and dialed the number in Yang Ming's room. Hello? Mr. Yang? I'm Batterton. Govasic's men are here. They are from the Guillotine Gang. A man named Mike is leading the team. He has brought 10 men. Batterton reported to Yang Ming. I got it. Thank you, said Yang Ming lightly. After that, Yang Ming hung up Batterton's phone and dialed Golden Bull's room number 3. Golden Bull, it's me. Golden Bull didn't speak after picking up the phone, so Yang Ming spoke first. Hello, leader. Golden Bull replied immediately. He had always maintained a cautious attitude when he was outside, so he was the same when he answered the phone. He wouldn't make a sound before he figured out the identity of the other party. 10 people will come up in a while. 11 people. You go and deal with them, and then leave the leader to see me. Yang Ming instructed Golden Bull. Yes, leader. After Golden Bull accepted the order, he walked to the door of the room and looked at the movements in the corridor through the peephole on the door. After a while, he heard the sound of the elevator door opening, followed by a burst of footsteps. Golden Bull saw a young man in casual clothes coming over with a few black-shirt macho men. Golden Bull opened his room door and walked out. Mike was also stunned when Golden Bull suddenly came out of private room number 3. He had seen Yang Ming's photo before and knew that Yang Ming was in private room number 1, so the person who came out of private room number 3 was definitely not Yang Ming. However, Mike still asked, "What are you doing?" Golden Bull smiled. I haven't asked him yet, but he asked me first. I'm waiting for you here. Golden Bull said faintly. Mike was stunned, then he felt that something was wrong. He frowned and made a decision. No matter what this person is doing, I will control him first. So, he waved his hand. Catch him first. The 10 black-shirt macho men obeyed the order and surrounded Golden Bull. Golden Bull smiled coldly. These guys dare to take the initiative to attack me? Golden Bull was not polite. His figure moved instantly. It was unknown when a bright dagger appeared in his hand. He quickly shuttled back and forth between these macho men. In the blink of an eye, several macho men had their necks slit and fell straight to the ground. Yang Ming's words had been very clear before. He wanted Mike to deal with the people, leaving only the leader. Since it was to deal with them and leave only the leader, it meant that all the others were to be killed. Therefore, Golden Bull was merciless and left Mike alone. These macho men all had pistols on them, but Mike asked them to control Golden Bull before. In their opinion, Golden Bull was only one person, and they had 10 people on their side. They didn't need to use their guns to catch Golden Bull. The result was tragic. They were killed by Golden Bull before they could even pull out their guns. You, who are you? What are you doing? Mike's expression suddenly changed. It wasn't that he hadn't seen dead people before. When he was fighting for territory with his subordinates, he had seen scenes that were several times bloodier than this. However, he had never seen a person who could kill 10 people in an instant and come out unscathed. However, Mike was not a fool. Although he was afraid, when he spoke, Mike's hand quietly touched his waist, preparing to pull out the gun quickly. In his opinion, even if the man in front of him was powerful, he was not an opponent of a pistol, right? However, in the next moment, Mike's face became even more ugly and pale. Because when he touched his waist, he didn't feel the pistol. Where is my pistol? Did I not bring it? That's not right. I checked it before I set off. There's no problem. Did I drop it in the car on the way here? Without a gun, Mike lost his life-saving trump card. Cold sweat fell from his forehead in an instant. What are you looking for? Golden Bull asked Mike. Chapter 1749. Mike naturally wouldn't say that he was looking for a gun, but when he saw the smiling man in front of him, Mike really didn't dare to not answer his question. This is the devil who killed 10 people in the blink of an eye. Are you looking for this? Golden Bull raised his right hand. Suddenly, there was a pistol in his right hand. Mike was shocked, but when he took a closer look, the pistol in Golden Bull's hand was the pistol that he had lost. He didn't know when the pistol was in Golden Bull's hand. Suddenly, Mike's face became even more ugly, and his face became even paler. He knew very well that Golden Bull had approached him unknowingly and took away his pistol, but he didn't notice it at all. If Golden Bull wanted to kill him, he would become a corpse like his other men who fell to the ground. I took it when I was dealing with them. Golden Bull glanced at Mike and said arrogantly. He learned this from Yang Ming. This was also one of the tricks that Yang Ming often used. Golden Bull heard it from Wang Xiaoyan and felt that it was cool, so he began to imitate it. His goal was to become a master like Yang Ming one day, so Golden Bull had been imitating Yang Ming's tone and style of doing things. Mike had more cold sweat on his head. He didn't know how he provoked such a person. Didn't I just ask him a question? Did he have to kill all my men? He forgot that he was the one who ordered his men to control Golden Bull. However, even if he didn't ask this sentence, Golden Bull wouldn't let him go, so Mike thought too much. What are you going to do? Mike was now a little scared. Although he was a small underworld leader, he was not a desperado. He was also afraid of death. He was doing very well now, and had gained Headless Wolf's trust. If he died, he would have nothing. At that time, who would remember him? His underlings would have an excellent person to replace him, and he would become history. As time passed, he would be forgotten by people. Don't worry, I won't kill you now. Golden Bull looked at Mike disdainfully and said, I want to take you to see the leader. Your leader. Mike wasn't stupid. The Golden Bull said that it wouldn't kill him now, but it didn't mean that it wouldn't kill him later. What terrified him even more was that this Golden Bull didn't look like a leader. Instead, he was a person who did things. If he was already so outstanding, what kind of person was his leader? Mike felt a pang of guilt. If he had known earlier, he wouldn't have stupidly volunteered to carry out this capture mission. Originally, he thought that it would be a simple matter to capture a foreigner. He just had to send 10 burly men to stand in front of that person. That person would be so scared that he would piss his pants. In the end, when the 10 of them stood in front of the other party's subordinates, before they could even stand properly and say a word, they were already lying on the ground, not knowing whether they were dead or alive. They were also scared witless. Then, he hadn't even seen the face of the person he was supposed to catch. Mike really wanted to cry. He was really unlucky. Why was he so proactive? You will see it in a while. Golden Bull didn't say much, and his tone was still very cold. Thinking of the relationship between Yang Ming and the hotel, Golden Bull also understood that the elevator on the top floor was probably locked at this moment. No one could go up, so Golden Bull wasn't worried that these bodies in the corridor would be discovered. As Golden Bull spoke, he picked up Mike and walked to room number 1. The movement in the corridor didn't attract the attention of Zhang Bin in room number 2. After all, Golden Bull moved very quickly, and the movement was very small. At this moment, Zhang Bin, Zhang Jifang, and Wang Mei were sighing about their safe return this time, so they didn't notice the things in the corridor. Mike was carried by Golden Bull like a chicken and came to the door of room number 1. Golden Bull knocked on the door, and soon the door was opened. Mike finally saw the person he was supposed to catch this time, Yang Ming. After Yang Ming opened the door, he turned and entered the room. Golden Bull carried Mike and walked behind him. Then, he came to the center of the room and threw Mike on the ground. "Big brother, I didn't do it on purpose. I'm just a small fry. I'm just a small character. All of this was arranged by our boss, Headless Wolf. He asked me to catch you, so I had to catch you. Please don't vent your anger on me. I had no choice." Mike had figured it out at this moment. There was no other way except to kneel and beg for mercy. Not to mention whether this Yang Ming was powerful or not, just his underling alone was terrifying enough. One person killed 10 people in an instant. What kind of speed was that? Anyway, a wise man knew better than to fight when the odds were against him. If he couldn't beat him, he would be a fool if he didn't beg for mercy. 10 years was never too late for a gentleman to take revenge. He would make plans after he returned alive. If he lost his life, what was the use of the rest? Therefore, Mike also gave up his dignity and kowtowed in the center of the room regardless of his image. Anyway, image and dignity were nothing. In Mike's opinion, what was the point of dignity and image if he died? If he didn't die, everything else was just floating clouds. Let him get up. Don't dirty my carpet. Yang Ming waved his hand to Golden Bull. Yang Ming didn't want to get blood on the carpet. Although it wasn't his carpet, it was inauspicious to live here. Yes. Golden Bull responded and picked up Mike. "The leader didn't ask you to kowtow. You stay here obediently." "Ah. Yes, yes." Mike didn't expect that his kowtowing would cause others to be disgusted. He quickly stabilized his body and said carefully, "Okay, you don't have to do these useless things here." Yang Ming frowned and looked at Mike with some disdain. "I won't kill you." "Ah. Thank you. Thank you." Mike was surprised and quickly said happily, "What about the people he brought?" Yang Ming ignored Mike and asked Golden Bull. "They have been dealt with," said Golden Bull. "Good." Yang Ming nodded and then said to Mike, "You take these corpses back. Tell your gang leader, Headless Wolf, to tell Govasik that there are only 18 hours left." Yes, I will definitely pass the message." Although Mike didn't know what Yang Ming meant, Yang Ming obviously wanted to let him live now. Of course, he quickly agreed. Anyway, as long as he didn't die, he would do whatever he was told to do. Golden Bull, find some bags and put the corpses in them. Let him find a car to take them away, Yang Ming said to Golden Bull. "Okay, leader." Golden Bull carried Mike and directly grabbed him again. He went out of Yang Ming's room and threw him at the door. "Wait for me here. I will find the bags." Yes. Mike nodded quickly. Seeing that Golden Bull had really gone far and entered the elevator, Mike's heart was a little excited. Golden Bull is gone, and Yang Ming isn't watching here. I can escape now. Should I escape or not? The current situation was very suitable for escape, but Golden Bull was a little hesitant. Just now, he heard Yang Ming's intention to let him live. Even if he didn't escape, he wouldn't die. However, if he escaped and was caught, it would be self-defeating if Yang Ming and Golden Bull changed their minds again. Therefore, in order to avoid new problems, Mike decided not to run. After all, Yang Ming said that he would let him go, so it must be true. Yang Ming didn't need to lie to him at all. If he wanted to kill him, it would be a piece of cake. What was the use of lying to an insignificant person like him? After figuring this out, Mike waited there with peace of mind. He didn't mind waiting for a while. Anyway, carrying these corpses back showed that he was loyal and didn't abandon his companions. At that time, he would be able to answer to Headless Wolf. After a while, Golden Bull came back with a few woven bags. Seeing that Mike was waiting there with peace of mind, Golden Bull was quite satisfied. He threw the woven bags in his hand to him and said, "Put their corpses in them yourself." "Yes, yes." Mike took the bags and began to put the corpses in them. Anyway, he didn't care about anything else. If he couldn't put them in, he would just fold them. Who cares? He would stuff them in first. Chapter 1750. It had to be said that Mike's movements were still very agile. He quickly finished all this. Then he wiped the sweat on his forehead and smiled at Golden Bull. "Big brother, I have already packed it. What should I do now?" "Oh, since you have packed it, move it down. I will help you put it in the elevator. After you go down, you are responsible for carrying it yourself," said Golden Bull. Okay. Mike nodded again and again. "I will take 6, and you take 4. Is that okay?" Golden Bull glanced at Mike and instructed. No problem." Mike was shocked. He saw Golden Bull carrying 3 bags in one hand and walking to the elevator with both hands. Mike couldn't help but be stunned. This person doesn't look so strong. Why is he so strong? This was too fierce, no wonder he was carrying her like a little chick. Mike didn't have the strength of Golden Bull. It was very laborious to drag a bag in one hand. As for lifting the bag, it was simply impossible. I will go and carry it again." Seeing Golden Bull drop the bag and look at him, Mike said quickly. "No need. You wait for the elevator." Golden Bull turned and walked back. He picked up the 2 bags in one hand and then walked back quickly. "Hold the elevator door for a while. Don't let the door close." Okay. Mike replied quickly. The elevator slowly rose, and the elevator door opened after a while. On the top floor of the hotel, there were no other guests except for Yang Ming and a few others, so no one else would come up. After the elevator door opened, Golden Bull asked Mike to hold the elevator door. Then he quickly threw all the woven bags into the elevator and asked Mike to stand at the elevator door. The elevator door slowly closed. After doing all this, Golden Bull went back to Yang Ming's place to report. Mike let out a sigh of relief. It's scary. I almost died here. Who is this person? Why is he so fierce? The elevator stopped several times midway. Some people wanted to go up the elevator, but when they saw that the elevator was full of goods, they didn't go up. Instead, they waited for another elevator. Anyway, there was more than one elevator in the hotel. There were several others. Ding! The elevator stopped on the first floor, and the elevator door slowly opened. Mike looked around first, and then carefully got out of the elevator. Batterton waited anxiously downstairs. He didn't dare to go up rashly since Yang Ming didn't ask him to participate. However, Batterton was very worried after Mike went up with 10 burly men. He was afraid that something would happen to Yang Ming. Did he catch Yang Ming? After looking around, Mike returned to the elevator and pulled out 2 woven silk bags. He blocked the door of the elevator with one on the left and the other on the right. Perhaps he was trying to prevent the elevator door from closing. Then he dragged another 2 woven silk bags out of the elevator and walked towards the entrance of the hotel. What is he dragging in his hand? Thinking of this, Batterton decided to go forward and ask. After all, this was his own hotel. If he asked, Mike would give him face and answer. "What's in that silk bag you're dragging, Mr. Mac?" he asked. "Do you need my help?" Batterton greeted him and asked. Mr. Batterton?" Mike was a little embarrassed. He laughed dryly. "No need. I'm just carrying it into the car." "Then, let me help you," Batterton said and dragged out 2 woven silk bags from the elevator. But as soon as the bags were in his hands, Batterton's expression changed immediately. He vaguely felt what was in the woven silk bags. Seeing that Batterton was helping, Mike didn't stop him. After all, This incident happened in Batterton's hotel. Batterton had seen that he had brought 10 men down. Now that he was dragging 10 bags alone, he had to explain how he felt. "Mr. Batterton, I won't hide it from you. I'm screwed this time." Mike didn't hide it. "These woven silk bags contain my 10 men. Although he vaguely guessed what was in the woven silk bags, Batterton was still surprised when he heard Mike say that his 10 men were all dead. This was done by Yang Ming. Yang Ming, that kid, is very difficult to deal with. One of his men is even more powerful. I stayed because he wanted to use me as a messenger. Otherwise, I would also." Mike didn't continue. He continued to say to Batterton, "Mr. Batterton, let me give you a piece of advice. Don't provoke that kid again. Don't bring you trouble again. Let my boss take care of the rest." Mike regarded Batterton as his accomplice, so he was afraid that Yang Ming would vent his anger on Batterton. So, he gave him a heads up in advance to give him some advice. So powerful? Then it seems that I really have to be careful." Although Batterton said so, he thought in his heart, "It seems that the family master is right. I don't need to intervene in this matter. Yang Ming can solve it." After carrying all the woven silk bags to Mike's commercial vehicle, Batterton returned to the hotel lobby. Although they had been carrying the bags for a long time, in the eyes of others, they might be carrying goods or something. No one was suspicious. Mike drove away quickly, and Batterton immediately dialed the phone in Yang Ming's room. "Mr. Yang, I'm Batterton. Are you okay?" Although Batterton already knew from Mike that Yang Ming was fine, he didn't expect anything to happen to him. "I'm fine. Has Mike left?" Yang Ming was amused. Batterton obviously saw Mike carrying the corpses. "Yes, I also helped him carry a few of those woven bags." Batterton said, "Don't worry, Mr. Yang. No one else was involved." "Oh, I got it. You can continue with your work. Contact me again if there's anything," Yang Ming said faintly without any expression after hearing it. "Okay, Mr. Yang," Batterton breathed a sigh of relief, knowing that he had established a good relationship with Yang Ming. After calling Yang Ming, Batterton decided to call Kaik again to report the situation here. Although Kaik did not ask him to report at all times, he felt that this was a big deal. He had to tell Kaik about it to show his respect for Kaik. Sure enough, after listening to Batterton's report, Kaik praised him and asked him to continue to pay attention to the development of the situation. "How is it?" As soon as Kaik hung up the phone, the elders around him asked anxiously. 11 went and 10 died. The leader was sent back as a messenger, said Kaik. The Nanqing family is really stupid. Is Mr. Yang Ming someone they can offend? They deserve to die. The elder who had a conflict with the Nanqing family said gloatingly. That's right. They really deserve it. I think this Nanqing family will be finished soon. They could have provoked anyone, but they just had to provoke Yang Ming. He is the existence that can make the Lancer family perish instantly. The others also agreed. After all, the Lancer family had nothing to do with them anymore. They could casually talk about it now. Kaik looked at this scene and smiled slightly. As his relationship with Yang Ming became more and more familiar, his position as the family master became more and more secure. On the way back to the guillotine gang, Mike originally wanted to call the boss, Headless Wolf, to report, but he thought that it was better to report this matter in person, so Mike sped all the way back to the guillotine gang's headquarters. He parked the car in the underground parking lot of the guillotine gang's company, got out of the car in a hurry, rushed to the boss, Headless Wolf's office, and knocked on the door. Who is it? Why are you knocking on the door? Headless Wolf asked with some displeasure. Just as he was about to say that the door was unlocked and that he could come in directly, he saw Mike stumble in. Chapter 1751. Boss, it's not good. Mike rushed in and shouted. Why are you in such a hurry? Why can't you talk nicely? Headless Wolf frowned. Even if you caught the person, you shouldn't ask for credit like this. In Headless Wolf's opinion, Mike must have caught the person and asked for credit. In his opinion, Mike was his confidant, so he must want to be promoted in the gang. However, there must be a reason for that promotion. Mike must be using the excuse of arresting people to claim credit, so that he could take the opportunity to promote him. However, Headless Wolf felt that it was not a big deal to bring people to the hotel to catch a foreigner. This matter was too simple. Anyone could do it. What was there to ask for credit? So Headless Wolf glared at Mike. I know what you are thinking. You're my trusted subordinate. If there's a chance, I'll definitely promote you. But you don't have to be so anxious. We've only caught a person. It's not a big contribution. If I promote you, others will definitely have opinions. No, boss. Mike didn't know what to say after hearing Headless Wolf's words. He quickly shook his head. Okay, what do you mean no? You caught the person, right? Lock him up. I will call the boss to report. Headless Wolf waved his hand and interrupted Mike's words. No, boss. Mike was a little anxious. I told you to stop talking. Why are you still talking? I will call the boss first. If you have any thoughts, you can talk to me after I call. Headless Wolf stopped him impatiently. Boss, listen to me. I really have something important to report. Something big has happened. Mike couldn't care less. He rushed over and grabbed the phone that Headless Wolf had just picked up, and put it back in its original position. What's wrong with you, kid? Is there no end to it? Headless Wolf was anxious. Even if you are my confidant, you can't be so unruly and disrespectful, right? Behave yourself. If you don't behave, you won't have to do anything next time. Mike complained in his heart. Even if you ask me to go next time, I won't go. It's too scary. It's too scary. I almost died. This time wasn't enough. Who dares to go again? Boss, I really don't dare to go next time. It's too scary. Mike said quickly. What do you mean? What the hell is going on? Headless Wolf realized that something was wrong. He frowned and put down the phone in his hand. Mike, could it be that your operation failed this time? It's more than a failure. It's a failure. Mike smiled bitterly. Boss, I brought the 10 underlings. I brought them back. Are you saying that everyone else is dead? How is this possible? Headless Wolf was shocked and looked at Mike in disbelief. Is what you said true? Headless Wolf didn't expect such a simple mission to fail. It seems that Yang Ming's underling isn't simple. How can you joke about this kind of thing? Mike nodded and said. Damn. I underestimated the enemy this time. Headless Wolf frowned. No wonder the boss told me to do it well. It seems that this person isn't simple. That's right. Mike hurriedly echoed. This time, he was the one leading the team, and the entire team was wiped out. Although the other party's people were too strong, it was impossible for him not to have any responsibility at all. Therefore, he echoed in order to minimize his responsibility. Headless Wolf suddenly thought of another thing. His expression changed, and he said to Mike, They are all dead? Why did you come back alive? You don't have any injuries at all? Boss, I was released as a messenger and a corpse carrier. Mike was startled and immediately understood Headless Wolf's meaning. He was suspecting me, so he quickly explained with a bitter smile, he didn't even bother to kill me. He just asked me to pass a message to the Nanching family's family master to see him within 24 hours. Otherwise, you will have to bear the consequences. Headless Wolf frowned. He believed Mike's explanation. After all, it was just a sudden suspicion. After all, Mike was his trusted underling. He had no reason to suspect that Mike was disloyal. What's more, this foreigner named Yang Ming was ordered by the boss to catch him temporarily. It was impossible for him to have any interaction with Mike before this. It was impossible for the two to have any contact. "Humph, your tone is quite arrogant." Headless Wolf was very disdainful of Yang Ming's tone. "Even if his underlings are good at fighting, so what? I have lost 10 underlings this time, but it doesn't mean anything. It only means that I underestimated the enemy." "Yeah, boss. You don't know how embarrassing I was today." I knelt on the ground and kowtowed to him, but he didn't even care. Mike also agreed angrily, "Boss, you must teach him a lesson." "Well, you don't have to worry about this matter. Leave it to me." Headless Wolf snorted and said, "You go and settle the dead brothers. Give more of the family's burial fee. I will leave this matter to you." "Yes. Boss, I'll deal with it now." Mike was overjoyed when he heard that he didn't need to continue to care about Yang Ming's matter. Moreover, he was also responsible for settling the families of the dead brothers. This was a good job to buy people's hearts and build a good reputation. Anyway, it was the gang's money that was spent. But when the time came, everyone would see how good he was. Mike naturally agreed with joy. After Mike went out, Headless Wolf dialed his boss Govasik's phone number with a depressed expression. "Headless Wolf, how is it? Is everything settled?" Govasik picked up Headless Wolf's phone call and asked. "Boss, something went wrong." Headless Wolf said carefully. "Something went wrong? What's the problem?" Govasik was stunned and asked. "Boss, this time I sent 11 brothers to catch them. In the end, only one person came back alive. The other 10 were all killed there." Headless Wolf said, "That Yang Ming has a very powerful underling. He almost killed them instantly." "What?" Govasik heard Headless Wolf's report and stood up from his office chair. He exclaimed, "How is it possible? Is this guy so powerful?" "Boss, I underestimated the enemy before. I didn't expect the other party to have such a strong opponent." Headless Wolf admitted his mistake first, however, even so, that Yang Ming is really arrogant. "He asked my underling who came back alive to tell you that you should inform the Nanqing family's family master to meet him within 24 hours. Otherwise, you will bear the consequences." "Humph." Govasik listened to Headless Wolf's words and snorted coldly. It wasn't the first time he heard this sentence. He had heard it from Smith and Batterton. He didn't expect Headless Wolf to also bring this sentence. He sneered in his heart. Isn't this Yang Ming too arrogant? How can he be so confident? Isn't it just because he has a strong underling? So what if he can fight? You can't beat guns and cannons. Boss, you see. Headless Wolf didn't know what Govasik was thinking. He only heard Govasik's cold snort. He was a little nervous, so he quickly asked. "How about this? You ask someone to send him a letter of challenge. Ask that Yang Ming to bring his underlings to the Guillotine Gang's headquarters." Govasik thought for a while and said, "Since his underlings are so good at fighting, we will be at a disadvantage if we send someone to the hotel to look for him. After all, the Douglas Vast Hotel is someone else's territory. We can't send too many people. We also have to consider the social impact. Moreover, only a few people can go up the elevator at one time. If the previous batch is killed, the losses will outweigh the gains." Chapter 1752. That's a good idea. Let that kid come to our gang headquarters to die. Headless Wolf thought that this was a good idea. It could avoid unnecessary casualties. Moreover, when Headless Wolf arrived at the headquarters, even if Headless Wolf's men were good at fighting, it would be useless. The headquarters was his territory. He could do whatever he wanted to Headless Wolf. Headless Wolf could only obediently accept his death. "I don't need to teach you what to do next, right? Bring him to the headquarters. Don't talk about rules with him. Just go up and tie him up," said Govasik. "Boss, I understand," replied Headless Wolf. However, he thought about it again and thought of a key problem. "Boss, what if Yang Ming doesn't come? He's not stupid. Let him come to the headquarters. No matter how many powerful underlings he brings, they won't be our opponents. Your worry is right, but it's not necessary. Laughed Govesick. Why is it not necessary? Headless Wolf was stunned. Think about it. Since this Yang Ming is so conceited, he wants the family master to see him 24 hours a day. Otherwise, he will have to bear the consequences. This means that he is a very proud and confident person. In this case, he won't run away. Said Govesick. Moreover, you can tell him that I can't invite the family master. If he wants to see the family master, he has to come to the guillotine gang's headquarters. With this, an arrogant person like him will definitely go to the guillotine gang's headquarters. Yes. Why didn't I think of that? Headless Wolf said happily, Boss, you used this method of provocation well. This time, don't make any mistakes. Be careful. Call me after you're done. Although Govesick knew that this matter wasn't Headless Wolf's fault, but the opponent was too strong, he was still a little dissatisfied. If he didn't underestimate the enemy, things wouldn't have ended up like this. After all, those were 10 underlings. They weren't weak. Don't worry, boss. There won't be any problems this time. Headless Wolf promised. Govesick didn't say anything and hung up the phone directly. Headless Wolf wiped the sweat on his forehead, then thought about it and dialed Mike's phone. Originally, Headless Wolf didn't intend to let Mike manage this matter anymore. His original plan was to find one of the 4 Gene Gang members in the gang, Slater, to personally take action. Slater was his personal bodyguard, so it wouldn't be a problem for him to take on 11 people. He should be able to handle it with the other 3 Gene Gang members. However, Govesick's call made him change his mind. It was safer to let Yang Ming come to his gang's headquarters. That way, Yang Ming could only wait to be captured. However, after much consideration, Headless Wolf decided to let Mike be the messenger. This kid had previous experience and had been there once. Moreover, since Yang Ming had let this kid go last time, he would let him go this time as well. This would prevent other people from causing more trouble. Mike, where are you? Headless Wolf dialed Mike's number again. Boss, I'm discussing the compensation with the families of the brothers who died, said Mike. Well, leave this matter to others first. I have something to talk to you about. Come to my office first, said Headless Wolf. Okay. Mike just wanted to ask what was the matter, but Headless Wolf had already hung up the phone. Mike could only go to Headless Wolf's office with a nervous mood. Boss, you're looking for me? Asked Mike carefully. It's like this. Headless Wolf had already written the letter of challenge and was printing it out with the printer. Go to the Douglas Vast Hotel again. Find Yang Ming and give this letter of challenge to him. Go again? Mike's face immediately turned bitter. Originally, he thought that he didn't have to go, so he was very happy. He didn't expect Headless Wolf to change his mind in the blink of an eye. I don't have anything for you to do this time, and I'm not asking you to catch people. You just have to give this letter to Yang Ming, said Headless Wolf. Okay. Although Mike didn't want to go at all, he had no other choice since Headless Wolf had already instructed him. He could only brace himself and go. After you go, tell Yang Ming that this is our letter of challenge to him. If he has the guts, come to our headquarters. As for the matter of him asking us to invite the family master, just say that we can't invite him. If he wants to find the family master, come to the gang headquarters first, said Headless Wolf. I got it. Mike nodded and took the letter of challenge that Headless Wolf handed to him. He walked out of Headless Wolf's office dejectedly. The corpses in the car had been moved out. As for the funeral of these people, Mike handed it over to his deputy, his confidant, to handle. Anyway, this kind of good thing couldn't be handed over to others. Even if it was handed over, it had to be his own people who benefited. Mike drove the car back to the Douglas Vast Hotel, parked the car, and got out. He carefully looked around the hotel before entering the hotel. He found that Batterton was still standing in the hotel lobby. He was a little embarrassed, but he had no choice but to walk in. "Mr. Mike? Why are you back again?" Batterton greeted him strangely. "Why are you alone this time?" Although Batterton mocked Mike in his heart, he still pretended to be very concerned on the surface. "AI, don't mention it. I'm here to deliver the letter of challenge on behalf of our boss." Mike said helplessly, "I didn't want to come at first, but the boss asked me to come, so I can't not come." "Forget it, I won't talk about it anymore. I'll quickly deliver the letter of challenge, then quickly leave. I don't dare to stay here any longer. Go, be careful," said Batterton. Mike came to room 1 on the top floor of the hotel. He hesitated for a long time before knocking on the door. Yang Ming had already noticed that someone had come from the movement in the corridor. When he saw that it was Mike, he didn't do anything. He just wanted to see why this kid came back. After Mike dawdled for a long time and finally knocked on the door, Yang Ming asked, "Who is it?" "Mr. Yang, it's me, Mike." Mike said carefully, "Can I trouble you to open the door?" "Why? Did you bring someone to arrest me again?" Yang Ming asked deliberately. He got up and prepared to open the door. "No, don't misunderstand. I'm not here to trouble you. How would I dare?" Mike quickly explained, "Mr. Yang, I'm here to deliver the letter of challenge." "Deliver the letter of challenge?" Yang Ming was stunned and opened the door with some doubts. "Yeah, this is it." Mike quickly handed the letter of challenge to Yang Ming. Yang Ming snorted coldly, took the so-called letter of challenge from Mike, and opened it to read. "Is this a provocation?" Yang Ming looked at the wording of the letter of challenge and felt some disdain in his heart. "They want me to go to the guillotine gang's headquarters? They have a good plan. Do they want me to walk right into their trap? However, if I don't have the strength, I'm walking right into their trap. If I have the strength, I'm smashing the place. This is great. I don't have to bother to find out where the guillotine gang's headquarters is. I can just write the address directly." Seeing that Yang Ming didn't speak, Mike was a little scared. "Mr. Yang, I've delivered the letter of challenge. Can I leave now?" "Leave?" Yang Ming asked in return. "Mr. Yang, I'm just here to deliver the letter of challenge. I don't have any other intentions." Mike's voice was about to cry, "When two armies fight, they don't kill the messenger." "Heh." Yang Ming looked at Mike's appearance and couldn't help but be amused. "Two armies fight? Are these two armies? Okay, I didn't say that I want to make things difficult for you. You tell that headless wolf that I will go. Ask him to wait for me." "Okay, Mr. Yang, when are you going?" Mike nodded quickly. "I'll go after I finish eating," Yang Ming said faintly. He waved his hand and closed the door. "Who?" Mike breathed a sigh of relief and hurried downstairs before Yang Ming changed his mind. Yang Ming threw the letter of challenge aside and dialed the phone number of Golden Bull's room. "Leader, what are your orders?" Golden Bull also noticed that someone passed by in the corridor and had been staring at Mike at the door. However, without Yang Ming's order, he wouldn't act on his own initiative. "Golden Bull, gather everyone. Follow me to destroy the guillotine gang's headquarters later," said Yang Ming. Chapter 1753. "Okay, leader." Golden Bull did not ask where the guillotine gang was, nor did he ask when they would be there. In his mind, he only firmly obeyed Yang Ming's orders. Other than that, he would not raise any objections to Yang Ming's words. However, at certain moments, Golden Bull would put forward some of his own suggestions to seek Yang Ming's opinion. "Should we also inform Wang Peng to get ready?" Wang Peng's men were not under Golden Bull's management. Wang Peng belonged to Island X, and he was now the butler of the Charles family. He no longer belonged to the Black Butterfly organization. Call him too. Yang Ming thought about it and agreed with Golden Bull's suggestion. Wang Peng's men were good at breaking through quickly. They could be of great use. Yes, leader. I will contact Wang Peng, said Golden Bull. After calling Golden Bull, Yang Ming turned and left his room. He came to Zhang Bin's room number 2 and knocked on the door. It didn't take long for Zhang Bin's voice to be heard. Who is it? It's me, Zhang Bin. Open the door, said Yang Ming. Ah, the boss is here. Zhang Bin said as he opened the door. Boss, Wang Mei and I were talking about you. You are so awesome. You are so awesome even in a foreign country. Yang Ming was dumbfounded when he heard Zhang Bin's words. Didn't I tell you to be more low-key in the future? Do you have a bad memory? Isn't this just satisfying my vanity? You see, even the foreigners don't live in such a luxurious suite. We can live here as soon as we arrive. Zhang Bin scratched his head embarrassedly. This time, I have something to brag about when I go back. Wang Mei and I are taking photos as a memento. Wang Mei was holding a camera at the moment. When she heard Zhang Bin's words, she felt a little embarrassed. She glared at Zhang Bin and pulled him back. Brother Yang, come in and sit. Zhang Bin, you are blocking the door. Why don't you let Brother Yang in? Ugh, I forgot. Zhang Bin heard Wang Mei's words and quickly moved aside. Boss, come in quickly. I won't enter. I have something to do. I have something to do. Don't wait for me, but don't go out casually. Open the door. Of them. Although Yang Ming wasn't afraid of anything, he was afraid that Govasik would lure the tiger away from the mountain and come back to trouble Zhang Bing. Hence, he reminded them in advance. Ah. Boss, I got it. Zhang Bin nodded after listening. He had almost experienced a life and death situation. Zhang Bin had also become cautious. But boss, why are you going out? Won't there be any danger? Danger. I don't have any, but others will. Yang Ming smiled. Zhang Bin was stunned. He immediately understood Yang Ming's meaning. Yang Ming was probably going to find trouble with someone, and this person was obviously related to the previous class. Boss, be careful. Yang Ming nodded and said nothing. He greeted Zhang Jifeng and left Zhang Bin's room. Golden Bull had already informed Wang Peng at this time. When he saw Yang Ming walk out of the room, he had been waiting at the door of his room. When he saw Yang Ming enter Zhang Bin's room, he did not disturb him. When Yang Ming came out of Zhang Bin's room, Golden Bull walked out of his room. Boss, Wang Peng is also ready. What do you think? Let's go. Yang Ming felt that Golden Bull had matured a lot. He was very different from when they first met. This made Yang Ming very satisfied with him. Where is Wang Peng? At our Charles family's headquarters in Las Vegas. Golden Bull said, right, the team that class found was also captured by Wang Peng. What should we do with these people? It's up to you. Yang Ming didn't care about the life and death of those people. Since he was working for class, he had to be prepared to lose his life at any time. Then let's go to the Charles family's headquarters first. Okay, boss, Golden Bull said respectfully. They went downstairs and came to the lobby on the first floor of the hotel. As soon as they got out of the elevator, Yang Ming saw Batterton from afar. Batterton also saw Yang Ming trotted over to greet him. Mr. Yang. I'm going out. If possible, stop using the elevator on the top floor. Don't use it except for food delivery, Yang Ming said to Batterton. Oh. Batterton was stunned and immediately understood what Yang Ming meant. Yang Ming wanted to go out, but he was afraid that his friends would have problems during this period, so he asked him to do this. This is easy. Don't worry, Mr. Yang. I will take care of it. Even if you don't say it, I will protect your friends. If it really doesn't work, I can always call the police, right? Hee, of course, Yang Ming said with a smile. Batterton thought, Yang Ming is really ruthless. He is not pretending to be ruthless. Mike brought 10 people up, and all of them died. Is this the means of an ordinary person? Moreover, when Mike came the second time, he was obviously frowning. It could be seen that he was really scared and didn't want to go up. At this moment, he also understood why the family master, Kaik, was so gloating after hearing that the Nanqing family had provoked Yang Ming. He even predicted that the Nanqing family would be finished. It seems that the family master knows the inside story. He knows that this Yang Ming is a powerful person. However, Batterton remembered that he had almost offended Yang Ming before. He couldn't help but be scared and break out in a cold sweat. He secretly thanked his lucky stars. He went to the underground parking lot with Golden Bull, got into Golden Bull's modified Jaguar, and headed to the Charles family's Las Vegas branch. The Charles family was worthy of being the world's second assassin family. Their branch in Las Vegas was very magnificent. Although it was in the suburbs, the transportation was very convenient. The area was even more amazing. Come to think of it, there was even a place for training. To be able to get such a piece of land in such a bustling international metropolis, it also showed the extraordinary strength of the Charles family. Brother Yang. Wang Peng had already been waiting at the entrance of the branch building. When he saw Yang Ming and Golden Bull's car, he immediately greeted them and helped Yang Ming open the door. He had followed Yang Ming earlier, and because of his relationship with Ho Junhan, he called Yang Ming Brother Yang. This was somewhat different from Golden Bull, who came directly from the assassin system. Well, kid, you did a good job today. Yang Ming smiled and patted Wang Peng's shoulder. Right, in the square, who was the girl who did that to you? Your girlfriend? No, it's a new female member. Wang Peng was a little embarrassed. Brother Yang, didn't you say that we should train some girls? Hee, I don't mean anything else. You can't be single all your life. If there is a chance, you should solve your personal problems. Yang Ming smiled. Let's talk about it in a few years. Wang Peng was stunned and smiled bitterly. Are you ready? Let's go if you are ready, said Yang Ming. Okay, where are we going now? Asked Wang Peng. The Guillotine Gang's headquarters. Are you sure you can eliminate them all at once? Asked Yang Ming with a smile. No problem. Wang Peng nodded very simply. If it's just to eliminate them, Brother Yang, you don't have to go. I can bring people over. These people under Wang Peng were trained according to the training method of the special forces. They were good at quick assault combat. It was easy for them to eliminate a gang's nest. This team of people was trained by Wang Peng as mercenaries. They had been on the battlefield several times in North Africa. Everyone had rich combat experience. How could ordinary gang members be the opponents of these people? Yang Ming thought about it. Wang Peng is right. I am making a fuss over nothing. It's just a local gang. It's not a big organization. It's just one of the 3 major gangs. Yang Ming smiled and shook his head. It seems that I have overestimated the strength of the Guillotine Gang by connecting with the behind-the-scenes boss. Since Wang Peng was so confident, Yang Ming didn't need to bring Golden Bull's people. He only needed to bring Golden Bull. How about this, Golden Bull? You don't need to bring your men. You just need to follow me, said Yang Ming to Golden Bull. Chapter 1754. Okay, leader. Golden Bull nodded without objection. Wang Peng, after Golden Bull and I enter the Guillotine Gang's headquarters, you take your men and destroy the Guillotine Gang. Yang Ming instructed Wang Peng, is there any problem? No problem. I promise to complete the mission. Wang Peng nodded and said seriously, but, Brother Yang, how do we deal with those gang members? You decide. Anyway, this Guillotine Gang doesn't look like a good gang to me. They are just a group of scum, said Yang Ming faintly. I understand. Wang Peng immediately understood Yang Ming's meaning. Golden Bull was still the one driving. Yang Ming rode in Golden Bull's Grand Dragon commercial vehicle and led the way in front. Wang Peng's team rode a bus and followed behind from a distance. The name of a tourism company was painted on the bus. It looked like a sightseeing team. It would not attract the attention of others. Oh, with the support of the Nanqing family, this guillotine gang is really extraordinary. After seeing the Charles family's branch, Yang Ming saw the guillotine gang's headquarters again. It was actually comparable to the Charles family's branch in terms of style. Although it was not as large as the Charles family's branch, the guillotine gang's headquarters was located in the city of Las Vegas. Even if it was not a bustling area, the land price was much more expensive than the suburbs. It seemed that Govasik's casino made a lot of money. It could actually support such a large gang. What are you doing? As soon as Golden Bull's car drove to the entrance of the guillotine gang's headquarters, two men in black came over and knocked on the car window. Golden Bull ignored them and continued to drive. One of the macho men in black was a little anxious and walked forward to block Golden Bull's car. However, Golden Bull didn't care at all. He continued to drive forward with the macho man on his back. He didn't listen to anyone except for Yang Ming's orders. Yang Ming didn't ask him to stop. He didn't care if there was anyone in front of the car. Ah! The macho man was shocked. He did not expect that the people in the car would dare to continue driving when he blocked in front of the car. He did not dare to be arrogant and quickly moved aside. He cursed in his heart. Who the fuck is this person? Why is he driving so recklessly? Is he from another gang looking for trouble? Okay, stop here. Yang Ming said to Golden Bull. It was enough to deal with these gatekeepers. Anyway, Wang Peng and the others were there. Golden Bull nodded and parked the car. Seeing Yang Ming and Golden Bull getting out of the car, the two macho men looked nervous as if they were facing a formidable enemy. This was outside the guillotine gang's headquarters. They couldn't use their guns on the street. Even if they were gang members, they had to take the police into consideration. Although the gun control in the United States was not very strict, it was another thing to shoot people on the street. Strictly speaking, Yang Ming's car was parked at a public facility. It was not in the guillotine gang's private territory, so it was not considered trespassing. Who are you two? What do you want? The macho man looked at Yang Ming nervously. Your boss asked me to come. Yang Ming handed the letter of challenge that Headless Wolf asked Mike to deliver to the macho man. Ah! The macho man was stunned and quickly took the letter of challenge. He had already been informed by Mike that Yang Ming was coming. Seeing that Yang Ming really came at this time, he naturally did not dare to be negligent. He knew that this was someone that even his boss, Headless Wolf, treated seriously. Naturally, he was very careful. You two, come with me. I will take you to see the boss. Yang Ming nodded and followed one of the macho men with Golden Bull. They walked into the headquarters. Headless Wolf did not expect Yang Ming to really come. Although the wording of the letter of challenge was very extreme and full of provocation, he felt that at least if he received such a letter of challenge, he would not come recklessly. After all, no one was a fool. Isn't going to someone else's headquarters equivalent to going to someone else's territory to seek death? After receiving the report from his underling, Headless Wolf was a little dumbfounded. Did I hear wrongly? Yang Ming, that brat, is here? And he only brought one underling with him? After getting an affirmative answer from his underling, Headless Wolf really wanted to laugh a few times. The world is really full of strange things. How can there be such a fool? Let them in. Headless Wolf's mouth showed a smile. Since they are here, they don't have to go back. After the underling who came in to report received the order, he turned and left Headless Wolf's office. He said to the macho man in black who led Yang Ming in, "Boss, let him in. You can go back." "Yes." The macho man in black nodded, then turned and left. He had sent Yang Ming here, so his mission was completed. After the macho man in black left, the underling said to Yang Ming and Golden Bull, "You two go in. Yang Ming and Golden Bull didn't say much. They directly pushed the door and walked into Headless Wolf's office. You are Headless Wolf? Yang Ming walked into the office casually and sat directly on the sofa opposite Headless Wolf's desk. At the same time, Headless Wolf also sized up Yang Ming and spoke almost at the same time. You are Yang Ming? Hee, it seems that you still don't know your place. Headless Wolf sneered and glanced at Yang Ming. He thought, this brat has come to my territory, yet he is still so arrogant. He really doesn't know how to spell the word death. Initially, Headless Wolf wasn't prepared to show his trump card directly, but now, he felt that there was no need to continue talking to Yang Ming. He would just let him wait here for Govasik to deal with him. I don't need to know my place when I'm with you. But you don't know your place, said Yang Ming coldly. Ha! You are quite arrogant. Headless Wolf couldn't help but be amused after listening to Yang Ming's words. Where is the family master of the Nanqing family? Yang Ming didn't have time to talk nonsense with Headless Wolf. Don't talk about those useless things. I don't want to talk to you about this. Brat, do you really think that you can see the family master of the Nanqing family just by coming here? Headless Wolf was stunned, and suddenly laughed. Ha 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 ha. Brat, you are really retarded. Why don't you think that you can see the family master of the Nanqing family as you wish? Who do you think you are? Heh. Yang Ming smiled. Could it be that you wrote the challenge letter for fun? To tell you the truth, brat, don't even think about leaving this time. Headless Wolf snorted coldly. The purpose of this challenge letter is to deceive you. Do you think you can still see the family master? You are too naive. You are very stupid and naive. Oh. So what you're saying is that the things written on the letter of challenge don't count? You won't abide by it? Yang Ming was not annoyed after listening to Headless Wolf's words, and still asked calmly. Of course, what else do you think? Headless Wolf curled his lips. Well, since you don't abide by it, then I don't need to abide by it. Yang Ming shrugged and said, originally, I felt a little guilty about killing you all. After all, you fools suffered because of the Nanqing family. But now it seems that you all really died for nothing. What burden? What do you mean by dying for nothing? Headless Wolf frowned. What nonsense are you talking about? Nothing, but you can die now. Your mission is complete. Yang Ming glanced at Headless Wolf disdainfully, and then said to Golden Bull, take him down. You, what are you going to do? Headless Wolf was shocked. He didn't expect Yang Ming to dare to directly order his underlings to take action here. This is my territory. You have to think carefully. If you dare to act rashly, don't blame me for being impolite. As Headless Wolf spoke, his hand reached for the pistol hidden under the table. Then, he suddenly shouted, someone. Yang Ming and Golden Bull acted as if they didn't hear it. Golden Bull continued to walk forward. As Headless Wolf raised the pistol, he felt his wrist being touched by Golden Bull. His palm also opened by conditioned reflex, and the pistol fell on the table. Golden Bull's acupoint sealing technique was learned from Yang Ming. Yang Ming had taught Golden Bull and others some simple acupoint sealing techniques. Golden Bull had just touched the acupoint on Headless Wolf's wrist, causing Headless Wolf's palm to straighten instantly. The pistol also fell unconsciously. Chapter 1755. Headless Wolf was about to shoot, but he didn't expect the pistol to be out of his hand. His face suddenly turned pale, and he shouted desperately, someone, come quickly. Yang Ming didn't stop Headless Wolf from shouting. Instead, he signaled to Golden Bull with his eyes, telling him to continue shouting. Bang! The office door was pushed open, and Wang Peng rushed in. Catch him! Catch them for me! Headless Wolf immediately roared and pointed at Yang Ming and Golden Bull when he saw someone come in. Wang Peng was unmoved. He came here to report to Yang Ming, not Headless Wolf's underling. Why aren't you moving? Didn't you hear me talking to you? Headless Wolf was a little anxious. Seeing his underling standing there stupidly and not moving, he shouted again. I heard you. Wang Peng was naturally much more casual in front of Yang Ming than Golden Bull. He glanced at Headless Wolf and knew that he had misunderstood. He smiled slightly and wanted to make him happy. Why aren't you moving even though you heard me? Headless Wolf didn't expect his underling to be so stupid, right? Whose underling are you? Why do you look so unfamiliar? Why haven't I seen you before? Oh, I'm Brother Yang's underling, Wang Peng replied. Brother Yang? Which Brother Yang? What Brother Yang? Who's the boss of your Brother Yang? Headless Wolf was stunned. He had never heard of anyone called Brother Yang in his gang, so he subconsciously thought that this Brother Yang might be a small character. There were so many gang members in the gang, so he naturally couldn't remember everyone clearly. So, he asked who the boss of this Brother Yang was to see if he had any impression. However, Headless Wolf was also puzzled. Where did my bodyguard go? Why didn't he come in, but let this idiot in? Also, how did he come in? Who allowed him to come in? Brother Yang, it's Brother Yang. How would I know who's above Brother Yang? Wang Peng rolled his eyes and said, in my opinion, Brother Yang is the boss. There is no one stronger than him. You. The Headless Wolf was furious. Get lost. Someone, come quickly. Mike? Where's Mike? Secretary? Where's the secretary? Oh, you're looking for them? They are already dead. Wang Peng looked at Headless Wolf with pity. Dead? Headless Wolf was stunned, then his expression changed. He faintly felt that something was wrong. He had been shouting for so long, but only this Brother Yang subordinate had come in. No one else had come in, although Headless Wolf didn't want to think the worst. Today's matter was indeed a little strange. Logically speaking, it was impossible for his secretary and bodyguard to disappear at the same time. He had shouted so many times. A bad feeling arose in his heart. Yes, he's dead. Wang Peng nodded resolutely. How did he die? Headless Wolf asked unwillingly. He could now see that there was definitely something wrong with this person who came in. He was killed by me, Wang Peng replied. You, who the hell are you? Headless Wolf immediately broke out in a cold sweat. As expected, there was something wrong with this person. I already said that I'm Brother Yang's subordinate. Didn't I tell you? Wang Peng said with a smile, isn't that right, Brother Yang? Okay, Wang Peng, don't mess with him. Yang Ming smiled as if he was trying to smooth things over. In fact, Yang Ming had tacitly allowed Wang Peng to come in and tease Headless Wolf. Who asked this guy to be so arrogant? Yang Ming also wanted to use Wang Peng to tease him. Okay, Brother Yang, Wang Peng smiled and stood beside Yang Ming. Brother Yang, all the people outside have been killed. Well done. You're quite fast. Yang Ming nodded with appreciation, then looked at Headless Wolf. Didn't you say that this is your territory? Since I'm here today, don't even think about leaving. Is that right? Yang Ming. Brother Yang. Damn it. It turns out to be such a Brother Yang. Headless Wolf knew that he had been fooled by Yang Ming and Wang Peng. He had been a fool to ask Wang Peng about this and that. In the end, Wang Peng wasn't his subordinate at all. His questioning was in vain. He had made a fool of himself. Headless Wolf didn't fully believe Wang Peng's words in his heart. There were at least hundreds of gang members in the headquarters. How could Wang Peng kill all of them? However, until now, no one had entered the office, and no one had reported that there were other people besides Yang Ming and Golden Bull at the headquarters. This had to be a problem. Yang Ming, what kind of trick are you playing? Headless Wolf wasn't stupid. He knew that something was wrong, so he began to be cautious. I'm playing tricks? Sorry, I'm not playing any tricks. Yang Ming spread his hands and said, it was you who issued the challenge and asked me to come here. Then, you told me that I couldn't go back, and I couldn't see the family master of the Nanching family. You also told me that the challenge was just a lie, and I didn't have to abide by it. Then, you asked me what kind of trick I was playing. Don't you think that your question is a little funny? This Headless Wolf thought that he had tricked Yang Ming into coming here, so it was a sure thing to take him down. However, he didn't expect the situation to change now. You still don't believe that your men are all dead, right? Yang Ming saw that although Headless Wolf was afraid, he wasn't that frightened. He guessed his thoughts. Yang Ming's words were indeed what Headless Wolf was worried about. Although he was a little scared, he didn't believe that Yang Ming's people could destroy his headquarters. Just this person in front of him can destroy the headquarters? Isn't that a joke? Therefore, Headless Wolf thought that he didn't know how Wang Peng got in. He just took care of his secretary and bodyguard, and then bluffed here to scare him. Now, look down from the window. Yang Ming said to Headless Wolf with a smile. Headless Wolf was stunned. He turned his head back unnaturally and looked at the headquarters courtyard from the floor-to-ceiling window of the office. At first glance, he almost collapsed to the ground. In the headquarters courtyard, there was suddenly a group of armed men in black. These people were obviously not members of his gang. His gang didn't have so many guns, and they weren't so well trained. The subordinates who were supposed to be on duty in the headquarters courtyard were all gone at this moment. No one knew where they went. At this time, Headless Wolf realized that this matter was really serious. Yang Ming didn't lie to him. In this headquarters, he was probably the only one who was on his side. Where are my people? Headless Wolf asked subconsciously. But after asking this question, he felt a little funny. Yang Ming had already said that his people were dead. What was the point of asking? Headless Wolf sat on the office chair dispiritedly and looked at Yang Ming with some fear. He wasn't a bold person. The reason why he could become the boss of the Guillotine Gang was entirely because of Govasik. He was the cousin of one of Govasik's mistresses. With this relationship, he was put in an important position. As for the killing, Headless Wolf never participated in it. He just ordered his subordinates to do it. He just felt at ease being the boss of the Guillotine Gang and being Govasik's spokesperson. In his opinion, with Govasik's support, his position as the boss was stable. No one could do anything to him. Every day at the headquarters, he could eat and drink well, and he could order his subordinates around. It was very refreshing. Moreover, Headless Wolf gave himself a very flashy name, Headless Wolf. It sounded very badass. He even made up a story about how he had chopped off countless people's heads with a machete. That was why he was called Headless Wolf. This time, it was originally a very simple matter, but he didn't expect to kick an iron plate. The other party's people weren't soft-hearted at all. Not only did they destroy the entire headquarters, but the problem now was, how would they deal with him? Call Govasik and tell him that the Guillotine Gang has been destroyed by me. When will your family master come? My patience is limited. I don't have time to play with you. Yang Ming looked at Headless Wolf, whose expression was uncertain. He didn't have time to analyze what Headless Wolf was thinking and said directly to him. Chapter 1756. When Headless Wolf heard that Yang Ming only asked him to make a call, he immediately breathed a sigh of relief. As long as I follow his instructions, he won't make things difficult for me, right? Without his underlings, Headless Wolf had already lost the boldness of a boss. He was like a cautious little person, trembling in fear and not daring to have any resistance. I'll make the call now. Headless Wolf nodded. All of a sudden, he was like a completely different person from the previous boss. He wasn't meant to mingle in the underworld. He only became a boss because he had Govasik's support. Now that he had lost his underlings, his boss had become an empty shell. How could he still be arrogant? Yang Ming also noticed the huge difference between Headless Wolf before and after. Previously, he felt that Headless Wolf was not like a boss at all. Even if it was a new gang, the boss should have the temperament of a boss. However, this headless wolf was no different from a rascal. Therefore, Yang Ming had already guessed that this guy was just a spokesperson chosen by Govasik. Govasik wanted to run for parliament, so naturally, he would not let himself be tainted with too much underworld background to avoid being criticized. Choosing a spokesperson was the best way. As for the guillotine gang's members, Yang Ming was not polite. Anyway, they were a group of scumbags. Keeping them would be a scourge. Wang Peng was eliminating evil for the people. Hello? Brother-in-law. Headless Wolf was so excited that he even forgot to call Wang Peng boss. He blurted out the word, brother-in-law. Headless Wolf, what are you calling me? Govasik naturally did not want others to know about his relationship with Headless Wolf. Although they were in his office, Govasik still corrected him, call me boss in the future. Boss, not good, something big has happened. Headless Wolf thought to himself. It doesn't matter what I call you. Please save me quickly, boss, the guillotine gang has been destroyed. Everyone is dead, what? What did you say? The guillotine gang has been destroyed? Govasik's mind suddenly went wang, and he almost threw the phone away. He didn't doubt Headless Wolf's words because he was now at a critical moment in the councilman election. His competitors were always thinking of ways to attack him. If they found someone to destroy the guillotine gang at this time, Govasik would definitely not be distracted by the gang's affairs because of the election. He also couldn't stand up and show that he had a relationship with the gang. He could only swallow his pride. So, Govasik's first thought was that this was done under the orders of his competitors. Who did it? Street Racer Gang or Ambition Gang? Govasik was talking about the other two major gangs, which made up the three major gangs with the Guillotine Gang. In Govasik's opinion, it must have been one of the other two major gangs who had the strength to destroy the Guillotine Gang. It was very likely that the two major gangs had joined forces to do it. Because there were not many gangs in Las Vegas that had the ability to destroy the Guillotine Gang, Govasik immediately thought of these two gangs. No, it's not. Headless Wolf smiled bitterly, boss, it was Yang Ming's underling, what? Yang Ming? Govasik was stunned all of a sudden. Originally, he thought that it was done by his competitors, so he did not think about Yang Ming at all. In his opinion, Yang Ming going to the Guillotine Gang's headquarters was undoubtedly courting death. So, how could a person who was courting death be the person who destroyed the Guillotine Gang? Impossible. No matter how good his underling is, it is impossible for him to destroy more than 100 of your people, right? Govasik blurted out subconsciously. He also has a lot of underlings. They have already surrounded the Guillotine Gang. Headless Wolf smiled bitterly, boss, you have to save me. Yang Ming is right beside me. He asked me to call you. Fuck. Govasik couldn't help but curse. This Headless Wolf is really useless. He became a coward when something happened. I don't know what he was thinking. When he saw that Yang Ming had brought so many people, he didn't call to report in advance. Now, he only called to report after Yang Ming destroyed the headquarters. What else can I do now that things have come to this? If Headless Wolf had reported it in advance, Govasik could have made emergency arrangements and found a way to gather people from other places. Even if it was not enough and it was embarrassing, he could have just reported it to the police and let the police handle it. At the very least, the Guillotine Gang would be safe. But now, everyone was dead, and you only called me now. What else can I do? He was already disappointed in Headless Wolf. The Guillotine Gang was finished. Headless Wolf had lost any value to him. If it weren't for his sister, Govasik would have found an opportunity to replace him. But now, since he had fallen into Yang Ming's hands, he would let Yang Ming deal with him. It would save him the trouble of doing it himself. Thinking of this, Govasik said coldly, you are the leader of the Guillotine Gang. Why don't you deal with it yourself? Why are you looking for me? Okay, if there is nothing else, I will hang up. Goodbye. After Govasik finished speaking, he hung up the phone directly without waiting for Headless Wolf to say anything. Headless Wolf was a little dumbfounded when he heard the busy tone coming from the phone. He was not stupid. Govasik's attitude was already very obvious. He wanted to give up on him. He quickly dialed Govasik's phone again, but after 2 rings, it was hung up. Headless Wolf suddenly felt desperate and put down the phone helplessly. Mr. Yang. Headless Wolf hung up the phone. Mr. Yang. Govasik hung up on me. Headless Wolf said carefully. He could only rely on himself now. Mr. Yang, you know that I'm just a spokesperson who was pushed to the front. The one who has the final say is still Govasik. Please don't find trouble with me. Govasik was the one who asked me to be the leader of the guillotine gang. In fact, it has nothing to do with me. If you want to destroy the guillotine gang, it has nothing to do with me. Please let me go. If you have any grievances, go find Govasik, don't look for me. Headless Wolf didn't care about his face anymore and began to beg for mercy directly. Yang Ming also heard the conversation between Headless Wolf and Govasik on the phone. He also knew that this guy was just a puppet of Govasik. Yang Ming had no interest in killing this kind of person. Originally, Yang Ming wanted to use this matter to get Headless Wolf to call Govasik and ask him to come out to solve this matter once and for all. However, it was obvious that Govasik didn't want to care about Headless Wolf's life and death. He hung up the phone without saying a few words. This made Yang Ming's original plan have to be abandoned. Looking at Headless Wolf kneeling on the ground and begging for mercy, Yang Ming was too lazy to do anything to him. He just glanced at him disdainfully and said, "You're on your own now." After that, Yang Ming waved to Golden Bull and Wang Peng, "Let's go." Headless Wolf was a little dumbfounded. He suddenly looked at Yang Ming at a loss. "Mr. Yang. Brother, you're not going to kill me?" "Why? Do you want to be killed?" Yang Ming frowned. He thought, why is this Headless Wolf so hesitant? No, no. Headless Wolf quickly denied and shook his head like a rattledrum. "How can I want to be killed? I'm not a fool. I mean, you're just going to let me go like this? I say, why are you so hesitant? Do you want to die, or do you not want to die?" Yang Ming suddenly didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "Of course, I don't want to die," said Headless Wolf quickly. "You don't want to die, yet you still talk so much," said Yang Ming. "If you don't want to die, then stay here obediently. I'm leaving. Goodbye." Wang Peng waved his hand at Headless Wolf. Golden Bull glanced at Headless Wolf blankly. He picked up the pistol that Headless Wolf had dropped on the ground, and then put it in Headless Wolf's hand. "I'll return it to you." Ugh. Headless Wolf watched the 3 people leave dumbfoundedly. The pistol fell to the ground again with a "pa" sound. "Who? I was scared to death. I didn't expect to be able to keep my life." After Headless Wolf waited for Yang Ming and the others to leave, he quickly packed his luggage and the gang's black gold, preparing to escape. He knew that even if Yang Ming let him go, Govasik might still find trouble with him. You're tuning into the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.